All right, welcome and thank you everyone so much for joining another Conscious Media Creator Dojo. This is week 2. Our topic for this week is about building community and earning income. So we'll just do a quick introduction about what the dojo is, some of the intentions, a quick recap of week 1 for those of you who haven't checked that out. Again, the Conscious Media Creator Dojo is an intentional private space that we create within the Paradigm Shift Central community that is focused on being able to help support fellow conscious media creators on their journey of serving community and thus helping accelerate the collective shift in consciousness, helping people break through their blocks, get inspired, and have a clear perspective on practical steps to be able to take action. As always, within the Conscious Media Creator Dojo, we're recording this live and then posting it afterwards to Spotify and onto YouTube. So Spotify, Paradigm Shift Radio, YouTube, Skull Babylon. If you're on one or the other, make sure that you jump over to be able to check out the recordings there, and you can find them and listen to them at your convenience. And if you see me like snapping my fingers and yelling at my cat for like destroying my curtains, I apologize in the meantime, but the cat's going to be co-producing this and future dojo sessions. So thank you to Shay, my producer. So with that said, as always, I'm joined by some fellow amazing conscious creators here within the dojo. So fellow conscious media creators, just going to gently invite everyone here to unmute their microphones and come on camera if they wish, just to be able to say hello and welcome to all of those of you who are listening in the future as well. So fellow conscious media creators, please feel free to say hello and welcome to everybody.
Hey, hi everyone. Hello.
What up, Italy?
Awesome. So thank you again, everyone, so much for joining in. We're going to really move right into things and just keep things as concise and on track as possible. Again, a reminder, these are practice for me too. So thank you again, everyone, for holding the space as we do things here, just to be able to, again, really help serve the community in some really exciting ways as well. So again, this week's topic is on building community and earning income. So before we dive into that, just want to do a quick introduction that leads into this relative to who I am and a bit about last week's topic as well. And last week's topic was about being a creator and embodying our why. So in terms of who I am, my name's Brendon, aka Skull Babylon, Mystic Spider-Man on Instagram and TikTok. I've been facilitating conscious community for well over 10 years now. A lot of you have heard me say that. So within me doing the Conscious Media Creator Dojo, a big part of the intention of this is for me to be able to help pass on the wisdom that I've shared to others, to be able to help continue this ripple so that together we can help more people, again, with stepping into their personal callings to be able to help serve community and assist with the shift in consciousness, as we've said. So within my experience as a conscious media creator and a community facilitator, a lot of this actually just kind of comes from my like natural inklings for leadership. So growing up, I was actually like captain for my team hockey team multiple times. I've directed numerous movies as well as plays, and I've been, again, involved with facilitating events over the years, literally facilitated over like hundreds of both online and in-person events. So a lot of my experience comes from the fact that within the past 10 years, I've built and facilitated events for the physical paradigm shift community. And these were open-minded discussion events that we would do weekly. And then over the years, kind of evolving that into the digital space. And that was a series of hosting a variety of podcasts and group discussions, meditations, all sorts of really exciting things. And many of you have been a part of those. And some of you, again, if you haven't checked those out, feel free to check those out online as well. And just give me 2 seconds here. My cat's just trying to attack my clothing for some reason. So anyways, as we kind of move into this, again, with leading community as we move right into the main topic. And just right before we do that, I just want to be able to remind people that everything that we're talking about here today within the topic of being a conscious creator and building community, this is something that if you're here for a reason. You're here because there's, again, not only a value that resonates with you, but because there's a part of you that wants to be able to step into more of who you are. So in terms of being a conscious media creator and a community facilitator, this is helping you step into your own role as a leader, as a mentor as well. So we want to be able to help support you in doing that ongoing. So outside of these Conscious Media Creator Dojos, we do have additional options to be able to help support you. You guys can, of course, contribute through PayPal for single contributions if you guys just want to do that to show your support for the creation of this space, but you can also reach out to me for one-on-one coaching as well. And many of you have worked with one-on-one, and that's where we can just kind of like dive deeper to be able to help assist you on getting clarity with your next steps, things that we can't always do within the group setting. And you can also check out my Patreon, which is again a monthly membership tier, and that's where you can also get access to me for ongoing coaching and additional events within the community. Within the Conscious Media Creator Dojo, we do also have our private Discord server. I'll post the links for both my profiles, my YouTube, so you guys can check that out at your own convenience into the Zoom chat as we're going through. And again, for the Dojo server, the Discord server, for everybody here, if you guys resonate this and you want to be able to connect further, definitely encouraging you to connect to the Dojo Discord server. That's where we kind of keep in touch throughout the week and also kind of like interact with each other, ask some questions, explore, brainstorm, share some of our exercises there as well. So I'll post some of the links just for my own stuff, for my PayPal, my Patreon, my YouTube, Instagram, and also where you can find the past recordings and lots of other stuff that you need there as well. So again, if you guys want to join the membership on my Patreon, the link for that's in the info for this video on YouTube. If you guys want to reach out to me for one-on-one coaching beyond this, you're more than welcome to be able to do that. And I keep it very affordable, and you can just kind of like book it one-off. So in terms of the topic for today, so again, with this whole theme of building community, this is a really, really important part of what it is that we're doing here to be able to help facilitate with the shift in consciousness. So when it comes to being able to help be a conscious media creator, it's one thing just to be able to create content, but to be able to build a community is something that's incredibly important. So why do we want to be able to build community? Of course, when we're building community, we're talking about connection, we're talking about relationship, but we're also talking about empowerment. We're talking about being able to give people something to be able to see themselves within, inviting people into something bigger so that they can learn and so that they can grow, so that they can contribute, synergize, experience, evolve. So a community is about being able to build and develop a relationship. So one of the most important things about building a community is, again, about being able to develop a healthy community. And building a healthy community is stemmed from the roots of building healthy relationships. So a lot of that even just comes down to the mindset of what is our relationship to the reason why we're doing this, as well as the reason for wanting to help people. And so for those of you who are already here within the chat, if you're already like facilitating a community of some sort, go ahead and leave a comment. I'd love to just be able to learn more about what type of community you're building, or even what type of community you might be wanting to build out of this as well. So when it comes to building community, again, for me, this has been something that's been an incredibly powerful experience, because being a community facilitator is one of the most powerful ways to be able to help you step into more of your potential to be able to serve people. And ultimately, it's something that I'm still learning how to do. Being a community facilitator is something that you'll really learn to be adaptable, but at the same time, it can also be incredibly simple as you continue to get more focused on your niche. And so when it comes to building a community, obviously this goes hand in hand with the possibility of being able to earn income as well. Now, I think for a lot of us here, we're kind of at this point where we're definitely feeling a calling, and we want to be able to be supported in doing it. So in addition to just being able to, like sell items in a shop and everything like that, building a community is a great way to be able to provide your service and your value in a way that's going to eventually lead to building regenerative income, or again, just even like selling like one-off high ticket items or services or coaching or whatever it is that you want to be able to do. So why do you want to build a community? So again, in being able to think about why you want to build a community, building a community is about being able to invite people to connect with you on deeper levels, on more intimate levels. So as conscious media creators, it kind of works within stages where we are going through the process of being able to create content that is going to reach people, but that content is also inviting people to connect further with us. And so the community is a place where you're really being able to provide the value of facilitation. And so as a community facilitator, this is something that I think a lot of us often sort of like underestimate the value of it. In terms of being a conscious media creator, you might kind of think like, oh, like what can I really offer? What do I have that I can really kind of like give to the community? When it comes to building a community, one of the most powerful things that we can do is the process of being able to create sacred digital space. So a big part about being able to create community is the intention. And when you really focus in on the intention of creating it as sacred digital space, this really creates a powerful direction for you to get a lot more clarity when it comes to deciding what your next steps are going to be, while also allowing people who are interested in joining your community to really allow themselves to feel confident in being able to connect to it. Because rather than just saying like, hey, this is a community where we just kind of like talk randomly about like our favorite hobbies and everything like that. Instead, if you're just like, this is a community that has a very particular intention, and that intention is towards helping people evolve, is towards helping people tap into more of their own personal empowerment, is about being able to create a space where people can experience the value of connection. And so building a community, again, in this day and age is so incredibly powerful, because in the world that we're living in, for everybody here, you know, like what's one of the most like, what's the leading cause of quote unquote like disease and just like apathy and depression and things like that? I'm kind of like, there's a specific answer that I'm looking for, but I just want to give you guys a chance just to be able to think about that. Like what's like one of like the leading reasons for like a lot of the ailments in the world, so to speak? And I'll give you a second just to kind of like brainstorm on terms of that, because the solution to it is in a lot of ways like community. And so I can see a lot of people just kind of hitting upon the particular thing, and all the answers there are totally right. But absolutely, like one of the reasons why there's such so many ailments within the world is disconnection, lack of connection. So in terms of being able to build community, again, this is about being able to provide the value of connection. So there's a lot of people out there who, especially when it comes to the shift in consciousness, who are probably just like, just thirsty for community. They're like, oh, like I want someone to be able to talk to. I want to be seen. I want to see and be seen. And so in the process of being able to create community, again, this is a very powerful opportunity for you to create a place where not only people can be seen, but they can see, and again, they can develop relationship and experience. So building community and creating space for community is about being able to provide people with the value of experience. So as a community, it's an opportunity for people to be able to participate on more intimate levels, for them to be able to contribute to the story. And so with a community, again, this is something that requires leadership. And leadership is about being able to direct people towards common goals and common objectives. And so as a leader, there's many different types of leaders. And there's also, again, kind of the concept of mentorship. And so being a mentor is it's kind of like a niche within a type of leadership, where being a mentor is about being able to help the world serve. And being a mentor is about sometimes just being a sounding board, a guide, a person of interest in another person's development. So you can be a leader and you can be a mentor when it comes to facilitating community, where again, you're serving by being able to provide people something that they can see themselves in through the process of developing accountability, through the process of being able to have a common place where they check back in like a helix. That's one of the most powerful things about community, is creating a space, a sacred space where people can kind of come together, they interact, and then they move out, and then they kind of like go out into the world and do their magic and explore their adventures. And then they come back together again. And then within that process, they see how much they've grown from week to week to week to week. So when it comes to building community, and again, I appreciate you guys just kind of like holding space for me here, because like I'm going through my notes, like there's a lot of things for me to be able to hit upon. And this is my first kind of like time doing this particular version of this presentation. So if it sounds like it's kind of like here and there, thank you for just bearing with me as we just kind of go through things in a way that I want to be able to make sure I'm just hitting upon some really key things that I've learned over the years about being able to build community. And some of the stuff that we're going to get into right in the next couple moments is, again, some of the different types of platforms that we can use to build community, how that builds into the platforms that we can use for being able to build income as well. And also, again, just more about leadership, the difference between inviting and asking, the difference between popularity and success, how to be an ambassador for our content, how to create a healthy community in terms of being able to create guidelines, setting boundaries, and also something very important, understanding that your content is not for everyone, and also the process of even things such as like dealing with trolls and maintaining a healthy space as well. And so what I want to be able to do is just kind of like move through things in such a way while continuing to keep an eye on the time, and we'll get kind of like this core part wrapped up probably within the next like 20, 30 minutes if we can kind of cover it that quick, and then get into the group discussion, where by the end of this, I want you guys to be able to not only just like feel the excitement of building a community, but to also, again, be able to have those practical steps to know how to be able to do it. And again, that's stuff that we'll be able to continue to talk about as we go. Are you guys, is this coming through okay? Can you guys just drop an 1111 if what I'm saying so far is just resonating with you as well? Because there's a lot to be able to share in terms of this. And obviously it's something that I'm very passionate about. And that's a big part about what building a community is. You know, you want to be able to find something that you're passionate about, and then to be able to reach out to people to invite them into a place where they can share that passion. And so using my example that I have through the process of creating the Paradigm Shift community, this passion was in a broad sense about being able to create a space where people can explore topics related to metaphysics, spirituality, but ultimately leading them back to empowerment. And I think for everybody here, considering the niche of what we're doing here is focusing on conscious media creators. And thank you guys for the 1111s. I appreciate that. What we are all working towards, but in different modalities, is to help people become more self-empowered, to be able to help them see themselves as co-creators of their reality, as co-creators of this reality as well. So again, in terms of like what we're doing here, that also relates to the individual process of community. The metaphor that I used last week is a process that right now we are all kind of like climbing up the mountain together. And so for me, creating this Conscious Media Creator Dojo, it's very meta. Like I hope you guys can probably like sense that, where we've built a community to be able to talk about building community within the community. So it's like, oh, you guys like community? How about we put some community within your community? But within the process of this community is again about being able to help us climb that mountain. So we're climbing it together. We're climbing it in a way where, as leaders and mentors, part of what your value is things that you have experienced. So a lot of people sometimes kind of have trouble fully conceptualizing what their value is that they can kind of like bring into a community of their focus. So not only can it be something that you're just incredibly passionate about, but it can also be something that you've gained experience over through the years. So say, for example, if you've gone through your own process of healing, something related to trauma that you've worked through, something related to shadow work, that in itself is something that you can help mentor other people through by being able to invite them into the space where you are serving as a mirror, serving as a sounding board to, again, be able to help them be able to walk that path as well. You're not walking it for them, but you're kind of like there to be able to help point them in a direction and help walk them there as well. If you have gone to school for a particular topic, if you have something that you, again, are a degree of an expertise in, this is something that you can build a community around. The community can be kind of something that can be very focused on a niche, or it can be something that literally is just about being able to help bring people together who are focused on spirituality and discussions and things of that nature. So in terms of, again, being able to build a community online, this is about being able to use the platforms that we have. And this is such an exciting time because we do have so many platforms that we can use. And just to be able to keep it simple for you guys, I've kind of broken things down in terms of the variety of different platforms, where we have platforms that are focused on building relationship. And then we have platforms like primarily about content and building relationship, like initial relationship. And then we have platforms that are more focused around community interaction and organization focus. And then we have additional platforms focused around, again, being able to build income as well. So in terms of why we're talking about building community, again, we're talking about building community, not just like if you are literally sitting on a lot of cash and you're just totally fine with things and everything like that, you may just want to create community purely just to create community. But at the same time, if you're just like, actually, you know what? I'm feeling called to be able to serve the community and I would like to be able to earn income, and I'd like to do this as a part-time hobby, part-time job, part-time devotion, and eventually even a full-time devotion, then that is something that you can totally work towards as well. So in order to be able to build income, it's important to be able to have community, because if people are going to invest in you, why are they going to invest in you? They're going to invest in you because there is something that you provide that they relate to, that they support, that they are passionate about as well. So the platforms that we are using here today are about being able to develop the relationships, and then through the relationships, from there, that's where the process of being able to build the income comes out of. And so in the terms of building income, there's different ways to be able to go about it. I'm just going to hit upon this real quick, and then we're going to kind of go through the different, again, the different platforms that we can use, because this is all one topic. But in terms of building income, again, you know, there's the option of being able to do things in a way where you're just kind of selling things one-off at a time. And this could be like an item shop. This could be like one-on-one coaching, and you're kind of like offering like high ticket coaching, even at higher packages. You could do things where it's the option of being able to work with you one-on-one for the process of 3 months. And you could package that at like $800, maybe even $1,500, maybe even $2,000. That's an option as well. Or you can also build things in a way where you're focusing on being able to create a monthly membership. And this monthly membership, you can decide on how accessible, on what level you want to be able to create the degrees of accessibility, where you could literally create a monthly membership that could be something at like $30 a month or $40 a month or $50 a month or even $100 a month. And then within the process of this membership, just to keep it simple, this could literally be something where people join into your membership, and this would be using a platform such as Patreon or a couple others, where basically this is giving them access to consistent, regular events where you are providing the value of facilitation. So this is one of the things that you can do as a community leader. It's not always just about you telling people all of this wisdom, but it's about being able to facilitate the space for people to be able to have the conversations, connect with other community members, and to really be able to receive the value of that meaningful connection, that intentional, meaningful connection. And so being able to invite people to contribute, to be a part of your community is something very important, because it's also inviting them to be able to put more of themselves to put skin in the game, to be able to put more of themselves into their own investment. So when people make an investment in you, what you want to be able to do is create something in such a way where it's not just like, hey, this is a chance for you to be able to help support me, but this is an invitation for you to also be able to help invest in yourself. So when people invest in your monthly package or your monthly membership for your Patreon and your events and things like that, how do we create it in such a way where someone feels excited about it, where they're like, heck yes, this is something that I'm doing because I know that through the course of me being involved with this, this is going to help me get more clarity on X, Y, Z. This is going to help me step into my own empowerment through the direction of the path that you have created for them as well. So for myself, I built a Patreon over the years. And again, this is something that I help people within the community build as well. I do think the Patreon is a very powerful option to be able to build regenerative income. It is one that can take a little bit more time depending on your tactics, but it's one where you're really focusing on building the roots. So something that you can do through the course of building a Patreon is literally, in a way that might kind of be like a part-time thing, set it up where, again, you have like a private Discord server, which is your community chat, and then you're hosting monthly events, maybe every couple weeks or something, and then you have a membership at like $20, $30, $40 a month. And then at that point, you're being able to bring people in, and there's a few ways to bring people in, and we'll talk more about this because that's kind of relative to event facilitation. And next week's topic is going to be very focused on event facilitation and live broadcasts as well. And then through the process of doing this, if you can kind of bring in like 10 Patreon members within your first month, and how we do that, we'll talk a little bit more about that. Then, you know, if you're bringing them in at $30, 10 people, then that could be like $300 within your first month of building your Patreon. And then if you do that next month, suddenly that's $600 and then $900. And then if over the course of what could be just kind of like a half a year, suddenly you've literally created like a full-time job for yourself. So with the Patreon, it's a little bit, it's an investment of your time, but there are ways to be able to do it that can be incredibly rewarding, that will open up some new doors in the future still to come. Because some people are going to be like, you know what, I prefer selling like the high-end ticket sales, and that may be the way they want to go. With the high-end ticket sales, though, it's a little bit of a risk, because if you're doing like the high-end ticket sales and you've sold, you know, like a few like high-end packages and that's working and everything like that, and then, you know, that's always meaning that you're always going to be needing to just kind of like sell a little bit more. Or you can kind of even sell a few high-end packages and then still have like your monthly membership building in between. So what you can do is have like a membership while still offering your high-end packages, while still offering like your higher end coaching as well. And then the higher end coaching can create the liberty for you to be able to have time to focus a little bit more on your membership. So over the years, I've built my own Patreon. And again, with my Patreon, that's something that literally, because of the fact that I invested in that previously, now it's given me the opportunity to be here today to be able to help support people in a way that is my highest excitement, that is really focused on being able to help serve the community. So for me, building a Patreon has like literally like created this avenue where I can focus on this full time to the best of my ability. And thank you again to everybody who supports on the Patreon. And you guys who support in all ways. So I'm going to go back, just kind of focus on some of the different platforms real quick. And just give me a second here. I just want to be able to take a drink. And you guys let me know, is this still hitting for you guys? Is this resonating for you? Because there's some other stuff that I want to get into that, again, you know, is like really important. So I'll keep an eye on the time here as well. Okay. Cool. Okay, cool. Thank you guys for your feedback. So let me just take a moment here, because I think there was some stuff that I created that I kind of skipped over. No, I think I've actually hit upon most of it. So, okay. Okay. And I know there were some comments there earlier about you guys talking about some of the events and communities that you create as well. So thank you again for leaving your comments there. And again, if I don't immediately reply to the comments within the me talking part, I will go back and read them if I happen to miss them at some point. So, okay, so in terms of how to be able to build community, let's bring it down to some basics. Let's focus on what our tools are, because the tools are, again, what's going to help us build things over time. And so building a community is something that does take time. It doesn't just happen overnight. Building a community is something that will take patience. So this brings me to a very, very important point that I want to be able to hit home with you guys. There is a big difference between popularity and success. So there are some people online as creators of various sorts that are incredibly popular, but are they successful? How do you define success? And so success is in many ways something that I consider to be, you know, focused on more about like the relationships and the way that you are serving people. So even though you're incredibly popular online, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are succeeding in being able to like help people in a way that's like consistently ongoing. Popularity is something that can kind of just be like a flash in the pan. Success is something that takes a little bit more patience and is more focused on the roots and the foundation and the connection. And again, the relationship that you're creating with people over time. So the tools that we use in terms of being able to reach people, develop a relationship, and organize community is more focused on the process of success opposed to just popularity. But both can but popularity can feed into success as well. Because there have been some people that literally like, they'll get like super popular on TikTok and they'll be like, oh my goodness, this is awesome, this is awesome, this is awesome. And then they're just kind of riding that wave. But if they don't fully utilize it, and then suddenly like the views and the algorithm kind of changes, and then suddenly they're not reaching people in the same way that they did. And those people may never see them in their feed again. And then at that point, you know, like it can be a lot harder for them to just kind of like pick up with what they got to be able to focus on building the community. So what you want to be able to do is focus on the success of building community, even with a small audience. Like that's a big thing that I talked about last time, where literally just focusing on being able to develop a relationship with a small audience is totally doable, where you're engaging with people like one-on-one and in small groups and small events. So content that is focused, so platforms that are focused on content and relationship building. These are your platforms such as Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and even Insight Timer, which I know some of you are using as well. So some of this is just kind of stating the obvious, but we're just kind of listing things off, and then I'm going to kind of copy and paste the list that I got here just so you guys can be aware of it. So again, these platforms, this is where we start building the community. This is where we start reaching people. This is where we're providing our value. And through there, we're also providing the invitation. And the invitation is more for the ongoing community interaction and the organization of additional engagement and events of that nature. So the tools and the platforms that we use that are more community interaction and organization focused, this is where you get into the platforms such as Zoom, Discord, Telegram, and then you got some additional website platforms that you can use to build communities, such as Kartra, which is one that I know some of my friends use it. I'm not 100% familiar with it. Mighty Networks is one that some people use, and even Facebook for Facebook groups, which not a lot of people use anymore. And then even some website platforms such as Wix. And then Patreon is something that you use to coincide with the process of building community. And then even things such as like newsletters and so forth and so on. And I'm going to kind of like go back to those in a second, because I want to just be able to hit upon this in a way where if you guys hadn't thought about creating a Discord platform by the end of this, I want you to be like, oh, you know what? Like, okay, I'm starting to see how I could build a community. What I have to do is, again, be able to kind of like figure out what that community is going to look like, have a space for that community to be able to interact, which could be your Discord and your Telegram. and then focus on what I want to be able to offer. And this is where I want to be able to lead you guys towards offering the process of facilitating interactive events, facilitating, again, your Zoom calls and your broadcasts of sorts. And then again, having a place to be able to bring them, and then using your other platforms where that is where they'll be able to offer, like you'll be able to provide the offers of memberships, of monthly memberships, of higher contributions. So the platforms that you can use to build income, state the obvious, PayPal. If you don't have a PayPal already, or a PayPal or a Cash App or a Venmo, something where people can literally just send you contributions one-off. Because again, those are going to be great, not just for donations, but those are going to be things where if you are offering one-on-one services, be it for like a one-on-one tarot, one-on-one coaching, one-on-one custom meditation, sometimes even just a consultation of whatever your focus niche is going to be in, that's where, again, literally just having that PayPal link to be able to send to them is incredibly valuable. And again, that's like, I know that's just like, wow, that's incredibly stating the obvious. I know it's stating the obvious, but we're just kind of stating the obvious just to make sure that all the bases are covered here. Because for some people, they're just like, what? Like, I haven't even created a PayPal account. So have a PayPal account if you haven't created a PayPal or a Venmo or a Cash App. That way, so you can include this, again, into the rest of your layout and your infrastructure that's going to help lead people back to the value that you offer. Platforms, again, to be able to build income, your Patreon. So again, if you haven't thought about building a Patreon, it's an option. Patreon might not be for everyone. The reason why I recommend Patreon is because it's something that people are familiar with. It's something that people recognize as a name. So if you're like, hey, I have a Patreon, people right away, if you're saying that in a live broadcast in a Zoom, you can be like, yeah, if you guys, you know, like if you're interested in connecting further, you're invited to be able to join into our Patreon. And then through there, join our monthly membership where we have like additional community events and so forth. So the Patreon, that's where you can create your monthly memberships. And again, you can create your monthly memberships in a way where you have kind of lower tiers, where it's like maybe like $10, $11 if you want to be able to create your community at an accessible level. Or you can start your membership at like more of a higher level if it's more kind of like focused around something very specific and you want to keep it a little bit more private. That could be something where your membership levels could be starting at like $40 or $50 a month, and that's okay. And then also through your Patreon, you can also offer higher tiers. And then those higher tiers, those can be things where you're also kind of like incorporating aspects of your personal coaching value. If you want to do one-on-one stuff. And that's the thing. I know everybody here's kind of got their own preferences and their own familiarity. So everything's going to be relative to what you feel called to do. If you don't feel called to do one-on-one stuff with people, that's totally cool. But if you feel called to be able to host events and facilitate like community in some form or another, there definitely are ways that you can go about that without having to think that it always has to be like high ticket sales and one-on-one coaching or whatever and everything like that. And so that's where, again, you know, what I want to be able to do through these broadcasts and these dojos is to help more people get into a space where they can be like, you know what, like, I think I could facilitate events. I think I could facilitate community. That sounds really exciting to me. That sounds like something I want to do. I like the idea of being able to surround myself with other people who are passionate about the things that I want to be able to have conversations with, and then to be able to give you the confidence to be able to know what platforms you can use, what tools you can use, and then using your tools, the platforms such as Instagram and TikTok to be able to create the invitation for more people to come back to this place. And you focus on building the roots, and it builds over time. And then with this again kind of like builds the relationships, it builds the regenerative income, it builds like more options for the one-on-one sales, the one-on-one coaching, if that's something you offer, and so forth and so on. I'm just going to go through this a little bit more, and then I just want to be able to get into some really key stuff. So other platforms you can use, I'm going to post this into the chat real quick just for everybody. These is just basically what I'm talking about. The platforms you can use for building income, again, PayPal, Patreon. There's a new service. I mean, maybe it's not new, but I just came across it. A lot of people are familiar with beacons. There's another one called SnipFeed, and I'm actually in the process of exploring it. I got to dive into it a little bit more, but with SnipFeed, this is a really cool one where literally, like, if you were to master this, you might not even need a Patreon, where you can literally incorporate the process of people purchasing tickets for events right through SnipFeed. And SnipFeed, just to confirm, is basically like a replacement for a link tree or a beacon. So again, when people go to your Instagram, you put the link tree, the beacons, or in this case, the SnipFeed in your profile, and that links to your other services, such as your website, such as your Patreon. But what SnipFeed also offers is the option for people to literally purchase digital tickets for private Zoom events that you may be hosting as well. So I'm going to post that into the chat, literally just everything that I'm mentioning, and you'll see the link for Snipfeed there as well. I didn't put all of them as HTML links, but you guys can just kind of like copy paste that, and obviously you can find those as well. And Snipfeed is one that I would look at. If you guys are thinking of like, oh, I need to create a link tree or I need to create a beacons, take a look at Snipfeed first. Because if you're thinking about hosting events, Snipfeed, again, is one where you could literally be doing a live or doing a piece of content, and you're just directing people and say like, yeah, like purchase your ticket for the next event through my profile link. And then that takes them to the Snipfeed, which takes them to the opportunity to be able to purchase the event there as well. So, and Christina, just reading some of your comments there as well. That's something that I want to just be able to get into a little bit later in terms of like what some of the blocks are that you guys are having, because that's something that's really, really important for just being able to explore within this discussion here as well. And Christina just saying they've done events, courses, one-on-ones, etc., and thinking about membership, but I feel really stuck with lead generation being discovered by new people. And that's something, again, where we can kind of like talk about that in a way where that's like related to like the content such as like Instagram and TikTok, and creating events in a way that can be able to invite people to the free events as well. So they're using, this is something that we'll talk about today, but we'll also talk about it next week as well, where one of the methods that you can do, much like kind of like what you're experiencing here within this Conscious Media Creator Dojo, is to be able to host free events that you can create as private, and then you can use those as value to be able to reach out to people, to invite them to a specific event that you're hosting. And once they come to that event, again, that's giving them an opportunity to be able to engage in something that they're obviously interested in because they chose to attend, and that's where they develop the relationship out of that. So in the same way, say for example, what I'm doing here with some of you here, and again, I'm doing this because I'm learning it too. Like that's the thing, like everything that I'm teaching you guys, like I've either done it or I'm literally still learning it in the same like kind of like path that you guys are on. Where using this dojo as an example, what we've created here is a private event, and I'm just walking you through the steps. Created a private event, sending out invitations for people who I feel would resonate with it. People join the event because they obviously are interested. They get value out of it. They develop a relationship within the event. I invite them further to say, hey, if you want to be able to connect further, we've got the membership option, my Patreon, or if you want to reach out to me for one-on-one coaching, that option is available. And we also got like a private Discord server if you want to connect to that. And then there will be people who again say like, yeah, you know what? I got a lot of value out of this event. I'd love to be able to connect with you further. What does that look like? How does that sound? And then you continue to just kind of have that conversation. So one of the things that I've found in terms of like being able to generate leads and stuff is that you kind of create like a balance. And I'm going to go back to what I was just talking about the platforms of building income, because I'll just mention this real quick. You kind of want to create a balance of content that is kind of just like focus on value, focus on engagement, focus on fun, focus on being nothing less than your authentic self. Like you're not having to do it in like a salesy way. You're literally talking about the things that you're passionate about related to whatever realm of consciousness and spirituality. And some of those are literally just kind of like nothing to do with your events. They may be, but they may not be. It's kind of more of the broader topic. And then out of that, you know, lo and behold, you post a reel or you post a TikTok and one of those gets pretty decent reach. And then you create like a ratio where it's almost like 75% content that is just focused on value and the things that you're passionate about. And then like 25 or even less than that is invitation for the events. And then that kind of, again, kind of like finds the people that are really looking to be able to, who are paying attention to your content, who are like, hey, I stumbled across you because of your viral video. Whoa, you also do events. I want to connect further. So not every single, like you don't want every single video to just be like, hey guys, come to my event, come to my event, come to my event. It's like, hey, here's awesome content. Here's awesome value. Here's me being me, which again, there's a lot of stuff we talked about last week. Like your authentic self that's incredibly valuable. Just being that, like that is your brand, you being your authentic self. And then within that, that's where it kind of like moves into the invitation. And those invitations may even just be kind of like on Instagram posts, Instagram stories, because the people who are paying attention will see that. And that's something, again, we can kind of continue to talk more about. I just want to go back to, just because I kind of like segued there for a second. And Christina, let me know if that's like helpful for you and for anybody. Just drop some 1111s in the chat if stuff I say like resonates with you guys. Your feedback is always super appreciated. So just taking a moment here to be able to breathe. feel free to take a breath too. Man, it's a lot. Do I talk fast or do I feel like I talk fast, but there's a lot to be able to cover. So I just want to be able to move through things. And again, I want to get to the other part where it's like how to deal with trolls and stuff like that. Like that stuff's like super important as well. Thanks guys. Appreciate the feedback. And for those of you watching on the future, please feel free to leave comments in the YouTube as well. So, and feel free to just direct message me with feedback as well if you guys are listening to this in the future. That's always appreciated. So just going back to the platforms to build income on. So again, we mentioned PayPal, state the obvious. Patreon, more of a membership one that we talked about, which is incredibly valuable for building regenerative income. If you can build a regenerative income, again, like that's literally creating a job for yourself, and that gives you the option, and you can kind of build the membership and still do like the higher end one-on-one stuff at the same time, and they can synergize. There is a way to synergize them. It doesn't have to be one or the other, but you can pick that for yourself. Snip feed, which we talked about, which you can use for, again, kind of putting in your profile link as an alternative to beacons, and include options for people to purchase tickets to events right through your profile link. Again, I have to explore that one, but I think it's pretty cool. And also platforms such as Kartra, which you can use as like a way to be able to build like a membership. So if you were using Kartra, you wouldn't be using Patreon. It'd be one or the other. However, the reason why I recommend Patreon is because it's free to get started on. The fee kind of like comes out of the contributions that you have. Kartra is like a monthly membership. I think it's pretty high monthly membership, but if you're like really looking to be able to use it, it's definitely an option. But I think it's like literally like over like $75 a month. I know some friends who use it and they use it quite well. Mighty Networks, again, another one where you can literally create like your own social media platform based around your content. Again, it's a membership. It does have a membership option as well. I've seen some communities use it. They use it quite well. Might not be for everyone though, so that's an option there as well. And again, that's kind of one of those ones where it costs like X number of dollars a month. So in place of, if you were just literally looking to get started, that's where I focus on being able to help people with Patreon and Discord and how to be able to synergize those. Neither of those cost anything to get started, and there's totally a way to be able to use them in an effective manner. I've done this, I've practiced this, I've taught other members in the community already how to do this. They've already built their communities as well, so I can definitely teach more people. Other websites such as Wix, again, just item shops, that can be something linked into your website. Another platform is Teachable. If you guys want to create like a course and sell a course, that's another option there as well. I'm not an expert in creating courses and selling courses. Some of you have experienced that. That's stuff that we can always talk about in some of the workshops, because I'd love to just kind of like hear from more of the wisdom of other people in terms of ways that you've experienced that have been helpful for building incomes. Because again, as much as I'm talking about this now, like you can think of me as just kind of like the teacher at the front of the class. When we do this, for me, I kind of like think of like, this is me kind of stepping into this role where I'm like Professor Brendon at my college back in the day, just kind of like creating a class about media, and you guys get to attend, and I'm just at the class for the time being. And then eventually we'll open it up into the group discussion, and having that group discussion where you guys are sharing wisdom is super helpful, because I want to learn from you guys as well. Like literally me creating the dojo isn't just for me to come here and just kind of like give you everything I know. I want to learn from each other. We want to learn from each other as well. So profile link resources, beacons, snip feed, or Linktree. I wouldn't really recommend using Linktree. Linktree seems pretty outdated for now, but beacons would be a good alternative, or snip feed. I would look at snip feed first and then beacon second if snip feed doesn't feel right for you. Other platforms you can use is a platform called Notion. That's something that you guys may want to explore. For those of you who got like the invite for this, the invite that I had for like the sync up for the dojo was actually created in Notion. Notion is really good if you're looking to create like something where you don't have a website, and you don't need a website. Like you literally don't. Like you can literally operate with an Instagram, a TikTok, a Discord, a Patreon, and Notion would be something where you can literally create kind of like a basic website. And because it's like a document building thing, but it's pretty versatile. And you guys have seen this because I sent you some of the invite where it has basic information, embedded YouTube, links to my PayPal, my Patreon and stuff. So Notion is another one that I would encourage people to be able to check out there as well. I'll just copy and paste the links again. I know a couple people just joined in a little bit late. So if you guys just want to copy paste those, check those out later. Those are your resources for essentially building community. All of those have been stuff, most of those have been stuff that I've used. But again, literally to build a community, Instagram, TikTok if you choose to, and then again, Discord if you want for building the community and having the space for organizing. I'll talk more about Discord in a bit, and the Patreon for the monthly membership if you want that, and then like PayPal for single contributions for coaching, and then using the other profile link builders such as Snipfeed and Beacons and stuff like that. Okay, so let's just kind of go back to some basics. Why do you want to earn income? one of the reasons to be able to earn income, obviously, pay bills. That's great. Get groceries. Absolutely. Have more freedom. But again, I think one of the main things that we want to be able to focus on is our relationship with why we want to build income. And it's also understanding that as we continue to develop more income, it increases our global impact. It increases the ways in which we can continue to serve others. And it's about being able to honor the energy exchange. So there's a whole conversation there about just being able to like really get more clear on being able to develop our relationship with money. That's something that we can kind of like talk more about another time. But again, there's no shame in being able to provide your value, create community space, facilitate events, and to be able to earn income. The more, again, kind of one of the things I talked about, one of my goals is to be able to help over 100 conscious media creators become self-sustained in doing what they do for a living, thus in turn helping accelerate the shift in consciousness. We need more people focusing on being able to help facilitate community, build community so that we can serve others, thus so we can continue to help the ripple effect. Like just taking things, again, kind of one step back, it's like, yeah, we're talking here about how to do online marketing and everything like that. But everything that we're talking about here, this is us using the tools we have to be revolutionaries, to be shifters, to literally be able to help the world. Like that's why we're here. And that's why I'm so passionate about being able to create this space, because this is me creating the space where I'm like, this is one way to do this. You know, this is one way that we can go out and to be able to help change the world. So being an entrepreneur is about being able to, again, develop a healthy relationship with income. And I like to use the term sacred commerce is a way to be able to help think of it. So that's more of something that I just invite everyone to just kind of meditate on. But if there's like any relation to like blockages and money and everything like that, again, there's probably even people here in the group. I can help you guys do that with like one-on-one calls, but I know that's kind of like something that a lot of us struggle with. But just to simplify, you are incredibly worthy. You have a ton of value. You facilitating community event is worthy of an ongoing energy exchange that will help support you in continuing to do so. So ways to earn income: Patreon, single payments, courses, doing live broadcasts. And this is something that we'll talk more about next week, where you can literally earn income in a live broadcast through things such as like tarot. Some of you have seen me do this, where I can literally do like tarot in a live broadcast and literally prompt people to contribute during the live broadcast to my PayPal to be able to earn income. And also another way that I've done this in the past, haven't done it recently, is literally using a live tarot broadcast to be able to direct people to my Patreon. And then as people sign up for the Patreon, then we do like a tarot reading for them on air. So there was a period of time where I was really focused on building my Patreon using this method. Each time I would go live to do tarot, I would do it in like a fun, engaging way. And again, we'll talk more about this next week with that topic. And I would literally get between maybe like 3 and 5 Patreon signups each time that I would go live, because I got good at this and it would be engaging, it would be fun, it would be valuable. And when we go live, it's the invite for the people to be able to connect further. And there's a big thing I'll talk about in a second, the difference between inviting and asking. And then again, so the ways we can earn income: one-on-one sessions and item shops. And obviously there's other ways to be able to do that as well. So the details of building a community: intention, authenticity, learning as you grow. And let me just take a moment here. I just want to be able to just check, because I'm not going to go over every single thing that I have written here. So yeah, again, I kind of talked about this earlier. Well, actually, I probably will go through everything, because some of the stuff I mentioned earlier is just a little bit out of order. So in terms of being able to, again, build income and offer your value, it's figuring out a need and providing a solution. A lot of you guys have probably heard people talk about that before. Like, how do you develop income? How do you develop value? You figure out a need and you provide that solution. So if the need is creating space for people to have discussions that are important to them, how do you create that? You do it by creating the space and facilitating those events and facilitating the content to be able to help assist them in that direction as well, moving them towards an outcome. When people come into your community, what do they get by being in it? Oh, they get more sense of self, more empowerment, more authentic connection, deep, meaningful relationship, connection with community as well. So if you have gone through something, there is value in that. If you have spent years mastering something, there is value in that. Focus on providing value. Value can be the creation of space, facilitating discussion. And that's what I was talking about earlier. What is sacred digital space? Sacred digital space is using the digital platforms to be able to create intentional space to serve as sacred mirrors. So the idea of being able to be a place where people can be able to find home, to find meaning, to find purpose, to find reflection, to give them a chance for them to see more of themselves through the space that you are facilitating. So the importance of leadership. What is leadership? Leading people towards common goals. If you build it, they will come. That was a big thing when I started the building of my community way back in the day, even the physical one. It was kind of like this idea of like having the building of the place created the synchronicities that brought people to it. So a very powerful thing that I'll just mention here real quick is I want everybody here to kind of, whether it's right now or later, meditate on feeling the future. And meditate on knowing that if you're feeling called to create a community, know that you are already connected to the people who you have yet to meet. So if you build it, then that kind of creates that portal for that energy to be able to synchronize through, and having that place for people to be able to connect into. That's how a lot of you connected into the work that I do through Paradigm Shift Central and everything. It was the creation of the space and then me going out and being an ambassador for it, creating content, creating fun stuff, and inviting people back to it. So again, feel into the future. You are already connected to the people you have yet to meet. Feel that, literally feel that. You are not just pushing into some unknown fog. Like there is like these points along the way, these beacons along the way that you are moving towards. And these points are meaningful interactions, are live broadcasts, are events. So know in the depths of your heart that you are already connected to the people who you have yet to meet. And again, one of the most important things that you want to do as a conscious creator and as an event facilitator and community leader is to get very clear on your vibration. It literally comes down to vibration. The more clear that you can get on what it is that you're offering and the value that you are providing, the easier it is for people to be able to identify and say, yes, that's for me. If you're kind of like, and it's okay to be this, but if you're just kind of like still figuring things out and it's not super clear, people are going to kind of be like, well, they don't feel clear, so I don't feel confident in being able to join them. It's okay though. There's a learning curve and I'm going to help you guys through that. But as you continue to go through the process where you're learning, and you will start out being a little unclear, like that's okay. Like that's not the problem. But as you continue to grow with the facilitation of your community, you learn, you adjust along the way. What you're doing is you're crystallizing it and you're refining it, and the vibration gets clearer. And then as you grow, you're also developing the repertoire, you're developing the rapport, you're developing the relationship. And then more people are like, whoa, there's momentum here. This is something pretty cool. I want to be a part of that. And that's where I want to get into the thing. I'm just working through here. Actually, the thing I want to get into is coming up. So, leading people towards common goals. If you build it, they will come. What can you accomplish with community? You bring you into more of your own potential. So creating community is not just for the community. It's literally something that will bring you into more of who you are. You will meet more of yourself by stepping into your role as a community facilitator. This has been a huge experience for me. I would not be who I am if I didn't facilitate community. Through the process of me facilitating events, even this right now, there are many opportunities where it's almost kind of like you get into this flow state, and this is stuff that I'll help you guys with, again, from my own experience. And then after the event finishes, you kind of take this opportunity and be like, whoa, like I just did that. Like that was really cool. And it felt fun and it felt exciting and it felt natural. And so it's like the consciousness in the universe kind of like working through you, and you actually get to meet those parts of yourself where you're gonna be like, whoa, I've never led a meditation before. I've never facilitated an event before. And then you do it and you gain experience. You level up. You literally allow yourself to grow and move into the next one. So the first event you facilitate is practice for the second and the third and the fourth, and so on and so on and so on. So I think as a community facilitator, one of the most important things you need to do is take that first step. You can't steer a parked car. A lot of you have heard me say that before. So what we want to be able to do within the Paradigm Shift Central community is really get you guys confident with being able to understand that as you approach things, see it as practice. See that event as kind of an experimentation to do it, to get the experience out of it, and then to kind of adjust as you go. So what you can accomplish through building community is helping people move towards something, helping them step into their own potential, help them serve, help them change the world. So being a leader and being a mentor can be a sounding board, a guide, a person interested in another's development, a type of leader, willing to share his or her experience and knowledge. A mentor is charged with developing and expanding their growth. So again, as a community facilitator, part of it isn't going to literally just like tell people, hey, this is what you should do. It's also you saying, hey, this is my experience and knowledge. And I share it with you, and people be like, whoa, that's really cool. I wanted to be able to learn more about that. And now I have, and now I can continue to connect deeper with that. Much what I'm doing. This is my experience and knowledge of facilitating community and being a conscious media creator. So planning events, brainstorming topics, honestly, every single person here, you could facilitate an event. You could host, I mean, relatively speaking, I know it's not for everyone, but everybody here, there is the opportunity, if you feel called, to be able to host a discussion circle, to be able to create the opportunity for more people to come and to discuss a topic that you have experience in, or maybe you're just curious about it and you want to be able to practice bringing that intention into the space, bringing that intention into the sacred space, and providing people the value of practicing talking and practicing sharing and practicing connecting and finding other like-minded and like-hearted people. So there are a variety of topics that you can do for events. You can create events that are ticketed events. You could create an event where it's like $20 tickets. You can do it as a sliding scale. You can say like sliding scale between $5 and $25 to make it affordable. You can do it as a pay what you wish of any option. You can do it as a free to join event with contributions encouraged, much kind of like what we're doing here with this event. And you can do the events as lead-in events, where you can do it as a private event or just a totally free event and see who joins. And then those events become lead-ins for your private community, for your membership, for your Patreon as well. So, and again, with the type of events that you can do, what different types of events can you do? You can do events that are group discussion, much of what I've talked about. You can do presentations. You can do facilitated meditations. You can do retrospective group discussions where you're creating prompts and you're leading them through a journey. This is something that I really like doing with events, where you're kind of creating a template where you're like, hey, okay, today's event, I'm going to take you on a journey. Like, that's what this event is. It's not just going to be us randomly talking. You create specific questions and specific prompts that they have the opportunity to be able to explore and reflect on, that take them through a journey. So for example, one of the events that I was doing not too long ago was the Rising in Love event with my girlfriend, Lizzy. And this was an event that was about working with conscious couples. And with the conscious couples that we worked with, we would literally lead them through a journey where it kind of gives them the opportunity to be able to reflect on their relationship, to be able to answer questions and to share questions with one another as a couple in this situation. And then to be able to move it to a point where we did a meditation, and then the meditation was kind of focused on embodying the virtues that we discussed, and then finishing it off with a couple questions that kind of prompted them to be able to reflect on how they feel, and then bringing that with them as they leave the event. So the event itself, you can think of it almost as a journey, as like a roller coaster or something that has a laid out track that you are facilitating. So it's not always going to be kind of you just kind of figuring out as you go. You literally find maybe like 6 questions, and those questions guide people through. It could be like a question. It could be again, kind of like an event where it's like, you know, like diving into the heart of shadow work. It could be an event about overcoming blocks and obstacles. It could be an event about, you know, like full moon intention setting. There's so many different types of events you can do. And again, a lot of the brainstorming and stuff, we can always do that further as a group as well. And again, with the events, you can also do meditations, guided meditations. The meditations, those can be private events, or you can practice doing those meditation events through your live broadcast platforms, such as your Instagram, such as your YouTubes as well. Or again, you can host private meditations, which may be a little bit more intentional. It's up to you. But when you do the free events on the live broadcast, it's a great way to be able to demonstrate your value and to be able to invite people to be like, whoa, this is really cool. What else do they do? How do I connect a little bit further? Plus, it's great practice for you to be able to do some of those free events as well. You can also do events related to sound healing. I know Uni just jumped in, and Uni does a lot of like sound healing facilitation. You can do events that can be tarot, oracle reading in a variety of sorts. And again, the tarot events, those could be something that you do privately. You could do like channeling events, but you can also do the tarot events. You can do those, again, as a live broadcast, because not every event that you need to do needs to be a Zoom room. Some events you can do is you responding to interactions through comments and things like that. But those are still community. It's community building. It's relationship building. It's giving people a place to be able to see a consistent theme, a cohesiveness, a ritual in what it is that you're creating in this space. Oh yeah, Brendon, I like his broadcast. I like being able to tune into when he does the tarot readings, when he does the meditations, when he does the full moon intention settings and things like that. Create a consistency. So if you're working with a few events, it's okay to kind of repeat consistent themes so that people can get familiar, and they're like, oh yeah, so-and-so, you know, they do a full moon event every month, and I'm going to make sure that I'm like joined in for the next one as well. Is this hidden with you guys? Drop some 11 lemons in the chat. I'm just going to take a moment here just to be able to drink some water. And I appreciate you guys. Again, I know there's a lot to share here. I'm going to get through it as quick as possible. There's not too much left, but there's just a couple more things that I really want to be able to hit upon. If I could just like blink and give you guys all this information at once, that'd be great. But apparently we still have to use this thing called talking and stuff like that. So for now, at least for now. Thanks, guys. Seeing those 11 lemons. Yeah, there's, in addition to everything I'm saying, there's also just like telepathic experiential downloads that I'm sharing with you. I wish I could give you guys like the 10 plus years of experience that I have and just be like, here's everything I learned. But this dojo is essentially me trying to do that. Like me creating the recordings for this dojo is me creating something where I'm like, how can I help get this information in a downloadable experience that people could watch literally in 6 months from now? You know, so if someone's like, be like, oh, how do I learn about being a conscious media creator? And be like, here, check out this presentation. It's more or less still relevant. The platforms might change a bit, but the wisdom is kind of timeless in a lot of ways. So there's some other timeless wisdom that I want to be able to get into. And this is really, really important. And if you guys are taking notes and stuff, again, thank you. Thank you for your attention. And if you aren't taking notes, feel free to take notes. Inviting versus asking. This is super, super key. Some of you have probably maybe heard someone talk a bit about this before. There's a big difference vibrationally between the concept of inviting someone to be a part of your community and to receive your value versus asking them. So say, for example, you have a Patreon and you have private events that you're hosting through your Patreon. There's a lot of value there. It's super exciting. You know it's something that people are getting a lot of value out of. And you're on a live broadcast. What sounds more appealing? Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning into my broadcast. If you guys feel like it, please feel free to donate. I'd really appreciate it if you want to donate. If you guys want, like, I guess you can join my Patreon. We got some events. Like, do you guys like, would you want to join my Patreon? Please help support me. It really helps pay the bills and things like that. Like, that's kind of like this, like coming from a vibrational place of lack. Whereas what you want to be able to do, and this is something that takes a little bit of practice, is getting into the vibration of inviting people into a journey that you are already moving on, that you are already ahead. Hey guys, thank you so much for being a part of this broadcast. I appreciate each and every single one of you being here. We've got awesome events coming up this weekend. If you're tuned into this, I would love to be able to see you there. If you're looking to be able to dive deeper into XYZ, if you want to be able to connect further with our community, this is an opportunity for you to be able to be a part of something really cool. We got some ongoing events happening on the regular. There's other awesome people. This is an opportunity for you to be able to be a part of something that's going to help you level up and be a better XYZ person, awesome being all around. So the idea of being able to kind of use that little shift of inviting people to your Patreon, inviting people to your Instagram, inviting people to your events, inviting people into your one-on-one services. It's a little bit different, but it definitely goes a long way. So some of you probably like, and honestly, sometimes I do it too. Like I notice myself doing it even with all my experience where I'm just like, please feel free to donate. I hope I didn't buy some bread this week. Please donate or something like that. But and honestly, like it's okay to be raw and real. Sometimes it is like that where I'm just like, man, like I gotta make some money and everything like that. And I'll jump on some lives. But I try to be conscious of the idea of just, again, being more open to receiving people wanting to be able to support you in what you do. And that's the idea, is that you can get to a point where through your own internal work, because that's so much of what this is, right? Your internal work reflects into the community. The community is a hologram of you. The community is a hologram of you. As you do the inner work, the community will reflect in that. So that's where you working on yourself is you showing up for the community in a lot of ways. And so as you get working on that, then again, more people are going to be like, whoa, this person is awesome. I want to be able to help support them. I want to be a part of their events. I want to be able to engage with them and be able to learn more about who they are and what they do as well. So inviting versus asking regarding events and contributions, be aware of the energy we carry with us into the various types of broadcasts. So that's a little tip there, but it's a big thing that will go a long way. Invite people. Hey guys, we're going on an awesome journey with my Patreon. We got some amazing events coming up. If you want to be able to level up as a conscious creator and reach the people and do the things, then this is the invitation for you to be able to connect further. Little thing. So the difference between popularity and success, I already talked about that earlier. Popularity and success are two different things. Some creators are incredibly popular, but they're not entirely successful. Some creators are incredibly successful, but they're not entirely popular. Focus on success. Success, the relationships, deepening the roots, providing value, something that will last. That's the thing with the paradigm shift community that I've created. It's gone through all sorts of kind of transformations over the years, but the roots have kept it going, and my own personal kind of like devotion to it. Another thing with community is that it's okay to transform it. Like, you may kind of do something and it will kind of change as you go. That's totally, totally cool. So focus on connection and relationship. Build slow, opposed to fast. This is something that again, what I just hit upon. This is very, very important, especially when it comes to like your Patreon communities and your core communities. If you can, build like a core circle first of people that you may already know, that you want to be able to, in some cases, maybe even personally invite into the space even before they've joined as a membership. This is stuff we can talk more about another time. But finding that first group of people to be able to come into this space, create the foundation, create like the example, and then you kind of like build the community around what those people are doing. It's not something that you have to do every single time. It kind of like depends. Like, sometimes you could literally start a community with 10 strangers. That's okay. But if you can bring in 10 people that you already know and just kind of like invite them to create something, and then kind of work on building out from that core circle, that can really help, again, kind of create that example, create that foundation, and build it up like that. For example, what I wouldn't recommend, but you could still do this, some people have done this, I've seen it in some cases, is say, for example, you're really, really popular on TikTok, super popular, you've got like a bunch of people following you, and it's blowing up pretty fast. If you were to create a Discord server, and again, a Discord server is a place where people can use as a chat platform where you can kind of organize things in different categories, different kind of like chat rooms within the big server. And you can use the Discord server as a beautiful place to be able to help promote your upcoming events, promote your content. And if you want, you can create it as a public Discord server, or you can create it as a private Discord server, or you can create your Discord server where part of it is public and then part of it is private. This is what we do within the Paradigm Shift Central server, which I'll post a link for as well. I'll literally do that right now just so you guys can kind of like see if you haven't already yet. And there's stuff I didn't even mention at the beginning about like just how the Paradigm Shift Central Discord server works. And for everybody here, I want to be able to invite you guys to be able to connect that. And again, if you guys want to get involved through my Patreon as a leading member, that is a place where we help promote the content that is being created by the creators within the community, and to be able to help feature your events, feature your content, and again, to be able to promote it to an audience right now within that Discord. There's like 800 people in our Discord. But again, what I want to be able to hit upon is the idea that, say, for example, someone's going super viral on TikTok, and then one day they're just like, hey, everyone, join my Discord. 200 people join their Discord, and then suddenly there's like 200 people chatting in the Discord. That's hard to control. That is something that is not really sustainable. That's a quick burning fire, something that will kind of like combust and implode on itself unless managed with some sort of incredible leadership. But if you were just like, hey, like, I'm creating some upcoming private events, and then through there, that's where you're inviting people to a private Discord, and then you start off with a small group, and then you create it very intentional, and then eventually, if you want to, maybe you can open it up to a wider audience in a public fashion as well. But just be aware that, again, with the Discord stuff, I feel like that's something where I'll probably end up doing another talk within the dojo, like specifically just about Discord, because there's more stuff to be able to go into. But for those of you who want to, again, get more instructions on building a Discord for yourself, that's stuff that I definitely help people with one-on-one. I have a template that I use for being able to help people build a Discord. It would save you like a day's work. I can walk you through it, customize it, get it set up in a way for you so that you got it. And now you're just like, whoa, now I can invite people to it. And using the Discord in a way to be able to promote your events, synchronize with your community, create a way for you to be able to reach people beyond the algorithm, because the TikTok algorithm, the Instagram algorithm, you can post there, people aren't always going to see it. Right? So you can use the Discord to be able to use that push notification feature within it to be able to make sure that when you post a new YouTube or a new Instagram or a new TikTok or a new event, that the people within your community who want to engage see your content. So it's really just bypassing depending on the Instagram algorithm or the TikTok content. So the Discord is the place where the people who really want to be able to connect with you, or who are in your private membership, in your Patreon, that's where you can organize with them and connect further and coordinate and have discussions and have events. And if you create it up in a public fashion, use it as a way to be able to lead people into your Patreon. And then if they do that, it can give them more access within the Discord server. And that's basically how our Paradigm Shift Central is set up. People can join. They don't have full access when they join. If they join on my Patreon, then they get full access and the additional benefits there. Okay, going to keep going here. I'm a little bit further along into the time than originally planned. I appreciate you guys so much with your patience. I know I kind of knew this one was going to go a little bit longer because there's just so much to go through. But there's some other key things I just want to hit upon real quick related to guidelines, dealing with trolls, and yeah, that's kind of almost after that. There's just a couple other things. So we're almost done. So I'm going to finish this up in less than 10 minutes. So so again, in terms of building a community, you are an ambassador for your community. You're an ambassador for your community through the content you create, through the connections you establish, and through the opportunities you provide. So in terms of being able to invite people to the community, again, you kind of want to be able to create a ratio with the content, where some of the content is literally just going to be focused on specific themes and value and fun things. And then maybe a smaller percentage of that, and it can be like almost like an 80 to 20%. 80% just like, hey, these are kind of the niche that I'm talking about. These are the things that I want to talk about. These are fun TikTok videos, cool things. And then within that, 20% of that, maybe, hey, here's our upcoming event. This is what we got going on for the private community. This is something that you're invited to be a part of. So finding that ratio, but again, knowing that using the Instagram Reels and the TikTok, those are the great ways to be able to help be an ambassador for your community, to extend the branch. Use those platforms to be able to help more people see what you're up to and be like, whoa, this is something really cool. This is what I was looking for. Those are the people that you are already connected to that you have yet to meet. So if you just create a community and then you don't be an ambassador for it, how are people going to discover your community? And again, that's where within the dojo, we'll talk more about the ways of just being able to like focus on creating quality content so that you guys can get more confident with doing that as well. So creating community is about being able to create a healthy community. A healthy community is built upon creating guidelines. Do not just create a community such as a Discord server where it's just like, hey, you can come in here and it's totally free speech and you can talk whatever you want and you got strangers in there. That will implode on itself. It literally will happen. There was a version of Paradigm Shift Central that I created way back in the day when I was still learning. It was a Discord server, kind of what I said before. I opened it up to the public. I did it as an experiment. It was like a social experiment. And then eventually it kind of got to the point where I'm just like, yeah, you know what? This isn't really accomplishing what I wanted to accomplish. Things just, a couple bad apples spoiled the bunch. And then eventually I was like, okay, you know what? Tabula rasa. I closed that Discord. I started a new one and I created the new one with a new guidelines. And the guidelines were very intentional. The guidelines were based on respect. They were based on the themes of what the project was about. They were based on the fact that we, as the administrators and the facilitators of the space, have the authority to be able to remove people at our discretion. And if people, again, this is like a big thing, like if people go outside of the community guidelines, they have made that choice for you that they are not a right fit for the community. And so that's another thing that I'm going to talk about in a second, is understanding that your community and your content is not for everyone. And that's okay. So being able to create healthy boundaries within your community is something very, very important. But the purpose of doing that is also to be able to give you the confidence that as you create your community, you have full control. Like, this is a big thing that I really want to be able to help support people in terms of creating community with, is to give them the confidence to know that they have full control over how their community operates. Meaning that if there's someone in the community that they don't fully resonate with, that there's like, you know what, I don't think they're a good fit, that's okay. You can make that choice. And you saying to someone like, hey, sorry, like I'm kicking out of the community, it's not so much just that. Like sometimes it's more just kind of like, hey, thanks for checking this out. I feel like there's something else out there that would be more what you're looking for. That would be a better fit for you. So you can politely just kind of like remove people from the community, but at the same time, sometimes removing someone from the community literally will just be a block and bless. So this is where, again, when it comes to your community, it's something where the guidelines that you're creating, be it within your Discord, are the same guidelines that can apply within your Instagram and your TikTok and things like that. If people come onto your Instagram and they start leaving like asinine comments and belittling and just like really kind of aggressive and stuff like that, what are you going to do? Are you going to reply to them and give them attention and try to argue with them and rationalize with them? You could. That would take a lot of your energy, especially if it happens on a regular. Or you can literally block and bless. You literally acknowledge in that moment that that person has established that your content is not for them. And that's okay, because your content is not for everyone. So this has been something that, like, even with my TikTok, when stuff was going viral, there'd be tons of people that for no reason other than the fact that they were just jerks, I guess, or just didn't have anything better to do. But again, like that's they're seeing it how they see it. And you can still hold empathy and just be like, yeah, you know, like that person might just be having a bad day. But at the same time, you can use your discretion and just be like, yeah, this person is not for me. This person is not for this community. And you can, again, literally just block their profile right there. You blocking people from your community is an act of self-love for yourself. Because when it comes to community, it's so important to remember that this sounds kind of harsh. This almost sounds like kind of like an asshole thing, that the individual is not more important than the community. And take that relatively speaking, because obviously every single person is important within their own way, but more or less, like, don't let one individual spoil the entire community, spoil the entire atmosphere with it. If there's one individual that's causing a bit of a nuisance, is got some issues, deal with that in private. Don't bring that into the community public space unless it's something that you feel needs to be talked about within the community space. And again, if you feel like, hey, this person just isn't the right fit for whatever reason, use your intuition, use your discretion. You can make that choice from a place of empowerment and either choose to block them, choose to politely just say like, hey, you know what? I think there's something else out there that might be a better fit for you. You can make that choice. And sometimes it means making a harder choice. But again, it's also something that can kind of be proactively solved through you kind of getting more of that clarity within the content that you're creating. So for the people that are like super viral, this is a bit of a thing that just kind of comes with the territory of being viral. You create a community, and if you're to create it as an open space, suddenly you got people in there that just aren't fully aligned with the community. But if you create the private space, you get to personally kind of screen each person and be like, yep, this is a person that I want in my space. And you get to pick who you want to be able to bring into your space. So that's where, again, even with this dojo, this is a private space. Everybody who's here has been privately invited, has personally messaged me in some form or another. And again, I appreciate each and every single one of you being here. There's a lot of really cool people here as well. Christina, thank you so much. And I know it's late, so if you want to just direct message me later with any questions or anything like that, feel free to do so. And again, that's for everybody as well. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. We're just going to go through a couple more things, and then we're going to get into the group wisdom sharing discussion as well. And again, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I know this one went a little bit longer, and if it's still resonating with you guys, drop some more 1111s. Your feedback is super appreciated, guys. Seriously, I'm honestly like, man, like I'm talking and I'm someone remind me to breathe, please. I'm just going to take a quick sip of my coffee real quick. So there's a lot of wisdom when it comes to building community. And, you know, I could probably write an entire book on this, but this broadcast is kind of like me just crystallizing this information in something that people will be able to listen to after this recording as well. So block and bless, deal with trolls, deal with them preemptively through creating clarity in the community that it is that you're creating. Don't be afraid to be able to say to people, hey, this isn't for you, and really focus on serving the community, serving the people who you want to work with. Pick and choose the people who you want to work with. Just because someone pays for your course or just because someone pays for your service, if you're just like, hey, you know what, this doesn't feel like it's a good fit, that's okay. You can literally just be like, hey, you know what, like this isn't for me. There's something else out there that's probably a better fit for you. Thank you for your time. That's okay. Set your boundaries. So important. Your energy is something that as you develop community, get very, very clear on like how valuable your energy is, to the point where if you feel like your energy is starting to get kind of like siphoned out of focus, you'll just be like, no, like that's no way. Like my focus is so incredibly valuable that I'm just kind of boom, laser. So when you see those trolls and stuff, you don't get sucked into this thing where you're applying them. You just block and bless. Whatever it is that you need to do to be able to keep your focus on working with the people who want to be able to work with you, who you feel alignment with, and who you know there's like that common respect and you feel excited about working with them. You can pick and choose that. You have full control. So okay, just a couple more things. Other things when it comes to facilitating community, again, routines and consistencies, really, really powerful. If you can create a routine and consistency for things such as your events, you can create a way to bypass the algorithms, because you can create an internal algorithm. Say, for example, hey guys, I'm going to do a meditation every Wednesday morning. And then you get people into that routine. They know after tuning in once or twice, every Wednesday morning, they're going to be there for your meditation. Or for example, this dojo every Thursday, 4 p.m. for the time being. You guys know where to find it. This is where it is. So finding a routine and consistency that works for you. But again, that will fluctuate over time. Keeping it simple. Do not be afraid to direct outreach to people. If you feel that there are people who really resonate with what you're doing and you want to be able to invite to an event or want to be able to invite even to your Patreon, do not be afraid to be able to send them a direct message. That's stuff that we can even talk a little bit more about another day, but it's okay. It's okay to be able to, have people on your Instagram who leave comments and people who are engaged, just be able to send them a direct message and just start even with gratitude and just be like, hey, thanks so much for engaging with my content. Just so you know, there's an upcoming event taking place. If you would like to be a part of it, please feel free to let me know. It's okay to be able to do direct outreach because that's going to allow you to kind of really pick and choose, reaching out to the people who you feel would resonate with the community and the events that you're facilitating. So again, we're almost done here. When it comes to facilitating community and being, again, kind of earning income and everything like that, it's something that's going to change with the times. And it's always going to be something that is going to demand adaptability. But at the same time, you can create the foundations to create something that is quite simple. Simple in the context, just as an example, where say you have a Patreon and you have a private community and you have events. That's kind of like your three main pillars. And then you have your content that you're creating that's providing value, that's sending out the branches, that's reaching out to new people. And as that content is reaching out, it's also inviting people back. People are discovering you and they're being invited back into your events and thus your private community and thus your Patreon, your monthly membership, or your additional one-on-one coaching or whatever high value offers or any sort of offers that you offer there as well. So understand that building a community is a journey and you will grow in the process of doing it. There are many moving parts, but you can also keep it simple and effective and fun. And I am here with you to be able to help build the foundations, to be able to set things up in a way where you feel excited and clear on what your next steps are. And with that said, I'm going to wrap things up here. I super appreciate everybody being a part of this. We're going to move into, again, kind of like the open discussion. I got some questions I want to ask you guys, and you guys will get a chance to introduce each other. And yeah, this has been an awesome opportunity for me to be able to practice sharing this. So I appreciate any feedback. And yeah, moving forward with community, again, you're doing this in a way where you're serving others, where you're building income to be able to help support you and continuing to serve others. And you're literally helping assist with the shift in consciousness. So I appreciate each and every single one of you in the process of what you're doing to be able to help serve community. And a reminder, next week's topic is on the focus of facilitating events and live broadcasts. So I'll be talking more about even examples like facilitating tarot events and earning income, facilitating more about discussions, how to set up events, the intention setting, how to be able to facilitate the discussion in a way that works. And again, also a little bit more about the invitation for events as well and different formats for events such as multicasting on different platforms, the difference between going live on Instagram versus YouTube and doing Zoom events, all sorts of stuff. So everybody here, you guys are invited to next week's event. And again, for those of you listening to this in the future, if you're interested in joining the future dojo sessions, send me in a direct message on Instagram. And I'd be happy to be able to chat with you more about inviting you into the Conscious Media Creator Dojo. So if you guys enjoy this discussion, please feel free to leave your feedback. I'll go back and read some of the comments as we go. And what I'd like to be able to do is move into some group questions, and we'll go through this, and we'll keep an eye on the time. We'll probably go a little bit past the hour. And then once we're done kind of like with the core thing and the recording stops, then we'll get into just a group work period. And that will be a chance just for you guys to talk a bit more, introduce each other. Again, a reminder, within the dojo, I am also doing work periods, which are happening on right now. I'm going to do one on Tuesday at 1 p.m. EDT. So that will be, again, kind of like this, but it won't be a presentation. It'll literally just be us showing up and talking. Make sure that you guys are connected to the Discord server. The Discord server is, again, much like what we're talking about with creating community, is the place where you guys can receive the updates about our ongoing events. And it's just way easier because instead of me having to reach out to all of you individually and be like, hey, reminder, join the Discord server and connect to there. And you can also use the living document to be able to find the recordings for this and future events. So make sure you guys bookmark the living document just so you can use that to find the recordings as need be, and join the Discord server as soon as you can. And if you have any questions about the Discord and stuff, let me know. And again, let me know if you want to be able to set up a one-on-one session. And if you guys want to join my Patreon, you're welcome to be able to join that. And that's where you can join as a leading member within the Paradigm Shift Central community. It's $11 a month. It's super affordable. And that will also, again, give you access within the space to be able to help feature your events and plus future ongoing exclusive events that I'm doing just for the leading members in the Paradigm Shift community. So yeah, let's move into some stuff. How was that, guys? On a scale of 1 to awesome, how did I do? Or something, such an arbitrary scale. Well, this is the next part that I'm excited about, because now I get to stop talking and I get to listen to more about what you guys have to share in terms of your wisdom related to conscious community. And again, all the links that I mentioned are in the info down below for the YouTube, minus the Discord and minus the living document for the dojo, because those are just for the people who have tuned in personally. So, all right. Looking forward to eating some meals after this. That was a lot of energy. So thanks, guys. Appreciate the feedback. Okay. So we're going to go around with some group questions here. And the first question that I want to be able to ask everybody here, and these questions are a chance for you guys to kind of reflect and also give you a little bit more opportunity to get some ideas about what type of community you guys want to create. So group question number 1, what do you look for and what do you enjoy most about community? So what do you look for and what do you enjoy most about community? And when we go around, I want to give you guys a chance to be able to introduce yourself. If you're already facilitating community, like even if it is, you know, hey, I do live broadcasts and stuff, maybe I don't have a Discord, maybe I don't have a Patreon yet, but this is kind of the vision of the community that I'm building. Go ahead, tell us a little bit more about it. I'd love to learn more about what you guys are doing and give you a chance to introduce yourself and network with each other. And everybody here, feel free to post your Instagram handles into the chat if you haven't already yet. And anybody who speaks on camera, I'll also include your Instagram into the show notes as well. So thank you again, everyone. This was awesome. And let's pass it around. So the first question, what do you look for and what do you enjoy most about community? Who wants to be able to go first on this? And just go ahead and raise your hand and I'll pass it over to whoever wants to go first. Otherwise, I know Carley is always keen to volunteer. As it's okay, Carley. So. But yeah, again, thank you so much, everyone, and we'll just kind of go with the flow here. So Uni, I can see you raising your hand, so let's pass it over to Uni. Let's give a nice warm welcome to Uni. And Uni, with this question, what do you like? Introduce yourself, and what do you look for and what do you enjoy most about community? So Uni, when you're ready, go right ahead. Welcome, brother.
Yes, first of all, you're a legend, bro. Like, oh my goodness, like the space you are holding for this and like the information and wisdom, like, yes, bro, this is literally priceless. Like this is what people pay for, you know what I mean? Like you're doing it. I just gotta give you some love.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah. So what I look for in community is a welcoming energy. I love to be welcomed, and I love the energy of invitation. If some of you may be familiar with human design, and as a projector, I am aware that I love to be invited into a space. So when that space is nectarous, when that space is warm, when it feels like, oh, okay, this is my entry point here. This is where I can bring value to these people and the situations that are happening and occurring in my life. This is it. That's what I look for in a community, and that's how I know, like, I'm in alignment. I'm going to this space now. My name is Uni Agape. I'm a sound healer and a multi-modality energy healer. I offer live sound baths now, mainly on TikTok, and I'm branching forward. And what I've witnessed in creating these spaces is that there's so many different kinds of people that are going to join in. And the space is so open. And I like what you said about like having an awareness of giving people like freedom of speech and saying whatever they can say. Community to me is connection and allowance of these other people to speak freely in a certain way, and holding a container so that the appropriate energies are able to arise, so that people can align to a frequency in that space that is presented on a golden platter by myself and the energies that I'm working with. I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you, Uni. Love being able to hear more from that. And again, for everybody sharing here, this is all just, this is practice too. So if you guys are like, oh, I'm a little bit nervous to speak, that's okay. I invite you to just be able to use this question as a prompt, just be able to kind of like see what's in your heart. You may not know what you'll say, but give yourself a chance just to be able to reflect on this question, because I think everybody here, there's something in us that has something to share, again, relative to this question. So they're all created to give you that opportunity. So the question again, what do you look for and what do you enjoy most about communities? So think about that. What communities have you been involved with? What really stood out to you? Why did you join them in the first place? I'd love to just be able to give you guys a chance to share on that. So whoever would like to go next, just go ahead and raise your hand. Genna, we'll pass it over to you, and then anybody else after that, we'll pass it over to you next. Go ahead, Genna.
Hello, beautiful souls. First off, I think I met most of you last week, but I'm Genna. And Uni, you're going to have to come to my house and you're going to have to build me one of those pyramids, because that spot, woo! I need that, baby. So whenever you're ready, I'm ready for you to come. So what I look for, and honestly, for both of them, just love, like just so much love. I just want love, and more support, and just openness and growth and transformation. I want a group that just transforms together, grows together, that is so closely knitted like a family, that we're not afraid to be like, well, you know what? You might want to grow on that. You might want to, maybe poke each other kindly and nicely with love to help each other to grow into the beautiful flowers that we are. And, a flower needs both sun and rain to grow. And I want those friends that are my sun, and I want those friends that are my rain, because both of them help me to grow in love. So that's what I look for. That's what I want. And thanks. Mwah.
Thank you, Genna. And again, just giving you guys a chance to kind of share a little bit about what you're up to, and this will kind of be happening ongoing and stuff. Genna is actually, again, like literally in the process. We were having a session earlier today, just kind of helping her get some clarity on the community that they're building as well. And Genna, do you want to maybe even just a short version, a short sneak peek? Because again, I think what you're creating, some people might be like, oh, like that's kind of cool. Maybe I'm doing something similar, or whatever it is that you want to share relative to the community that you're kind of working on building right now and have already built around your platforms.
Yeah. So I have so much going on, and Brendon was really helping me to just key in the focus. So I am a meditation, spiritual love coach. So I go live on Insight Timer. I'll be going live after this. So I have that already. I also do one-on-one coaching. I have a course that I just created about 3 months ago on sexual healing, sexual cord cutting, divine sexuality, especially geared towards, the feminine. Men are welcome too, but, as feminines, we are the receivers of that energy. We like to harness that energy and not give it back. So I try to just empower women and teach them all about their love and their sexuality, and just tap into just the word and love. So I have my Patreon, and I don't know what else you wanted me to talk about.
Yeah, that's cool for now. Well, for those who want to connect with Genna, encouraging you to do so. And I just posted the link for Genna in the Zoom chat. So for everybody here, if you guys haven't yet, feel free to connect with Genna. And I'll post a link for Uni as well. For those of you who haven't connected with Uni, and anybody else here, I'll do my best to just kind of take care of sharing you guys links. And again, for those of you listening in the future, their links are in the YouTube info as well. So yeah, thanks, Genna. And again, I know it's still kind of like stages of getting some ideas ready for events and things still to come. So definitely stay tuned. There's more coming from Genna and the community there. So thank you, Genna.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, okay, we'll keep passing things around, and yeah, we'll keep an eye on the time. If anybody does have to leave early, just let us know if you need to jump out. We'll move it a little bit further into, again, essentially just kind of moving the work period a little bit later. But I do want to just kind of like focus here because this is such an important part. And again, I apologize. The presentation took a little bit longer than originally planned. So whoever would like to go next, Kelsey, would you like to go next? We can pass it over to you. Okay, let's pass it over to Kelsey. Kelsey, welcome back. When you're ready, go right ahead.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kelsey. I am just like flowing with excitement right now because I haven't felt like this much excitement in a while to be in a community, because I'm starting to become a even more conscious leader on social media, and I've always wanted to do that. And I've just recently quit my mental health therapist position to go for being a healer on social media. And I'm in the same community that Uni's in, where he does sound healing, and that has been so beautiful. And I found them because the wonderful goddess that runs it is an empath healer, and she helps with empaths healing their anxiety. And that is what I'm wanting to do as well. So I'm kind of like, as I'm learning, I'm also wanting to teach. So I'm trying to figure out how to teach without being like a copy of someone else, honestly. Like I know that I have my own way of doing things, and I have my authenticity, but the knowledge that I'm gaining, I really want to pass on. So I'm learning how to do that in my own way. And before I went into that community, like I was already doing on my own path of learning tarot and oracle. I do oracle every day, and like I just feel so connected to spirit, and I'm just trying to figure out how to share my own authenticity with people, and I really look for that in other communities. Yeah, and I'm also a Reiki healer, and I like the word that Uni used, multi-modality healer, because my degree is in social work. I have a master's in social work. So like I just literally have studied the board of mental health and community health and everything. I have a lot to offer. I'm just trying to figure out how to condense it and put it out there. So yeah, that's me.
Thank you, Kelsey. And again, whether if you want to reach out to me, or there might be somebody else here who might be able to help assist. Again, like one of the things that I definitely am here to be able to help people with is kind of taking all those ideas that are floating around in the ether and just kind of like crystallizing it into the practical steps to be able to say, this is what I can do next. And, you know, flash forward a couple weeks and you're like, whoa, I've got something really cool that I feel confident to be able to facilitate and invite people to. So yeah, Kelsey, thank you for sharing. And again, feel free to reach out if there's something there that you want to just be able to work further with as well. And happy to be able to have you here in the dojo. And that's cool that we already got people that are like, oh, like the communities overlap with communities. And that's the beauty of it. There's so many communities nowadays where people get to really kind of like pick and choose, and they can be in multiple communities. So it's really cool to be able to see things kind of overlapping here. So Kelsey, thank you again. And Kelsey's on Instagram, Kelsea.empowers, KELSEA.empowers as well. So feel free to connect with Kelsey there as well. So perfect. Okay. And just moving on to the next person, Graham, I can see you got your hand up, so we can pass it over to you. And then I got another question after the next question after this. I'm really interested in. So, and again, if anybody else wants to share on this first question, we still have time for that. So, Graham, if you're ready, we can pass it over to you. So, Graham, when you're ready, go right ahead. You can briefly introduce yourself and what do you look for and what do you enjoy most about community? Welcome, Graham. Oh, just double checking, Mike. Yes, perfect. Go ahead.
Okay.
Dude.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, dude.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So I just want to first of all appreciate. I want to thank you all for the invite. I appreciate you holding space, much like what everyone else is saying. I resonate with a lot of everything you guys are communicating. You know, actually, I also believe I'm pretty close to you as well, Brendon. In Ontario. Now, I'm a pretty multidimensional person. I have a lot to offer this world, and I'm just looking for the right community to. I mean, I've been trying to build my own community on Instagram. That's kind of my thing right now. You guys can follow me. I put it in my excuse me. I get a little bit of anxiety too. I think I kind of was resonating, especially with what the last person was saying. I think it was Carley, or no, not Carley. It was well, she's talking about
Kelsey.
empaths and anxiety, and I'm an empath. I am an intuitive empath, and I have an enormous amount of anxiety when it comes to putting myself out there with videos and content and stuff like that. And I really want help with that kind of stuff. I really want to also offer maybe like a meditation type thing too, because that's what helps me. I find is when I find my center, I can talk, but it's very hard for me to like hold that center. And I feel like I need a community to really help me. I was actually also interested in joining the Patreon too, I guess. You know, $11, that's really not much to ask for a great community like you guys. And I'd be happy to join if you guys would have me. I want to learn from you guys, and I feel like, you know, we can all learn from each other. That's what life is all about. But yeah, it's just, you know, I'm a kind of like a social worker on the like, been part-time. I do a lot of general labor for my uncle. I kind of just do a lot of everything. I'm kind of all over the place. I don't really do one thing. I'm just kind of like everywhere, all over the place, everywhere, all the time. So, yeah, you know, that's kind of where I'm at right now, I guess. I hope you guys can understand where I'm coming from.
Totally. Graham, thank you so much, man. I'm glad you're able to join in, and glad to have more Canadians join in. Are there any other Canadians here? We might be the only ones. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, Graham, man, it's interesting because you sharing that actually leads into the next question that we have, and I'll prompt you guys on that in a bit. And totally, you know, like one of the things, and this can be something we talk more about, especially even next week, is in terms of like facilitating event, just being able to get some of the practice under your belt is such a huge thing. Just to be able to say like, you know what, I'm going to go live today and I'm going to do a meditation. Yeah. And then once you kind of do that, you kind of like break through these blockages and really allow yourself to just be like, whoa, like that was actually really cool. And I got some powerful feedback. And now I got a little bit more confidence with being able to do it next time. So it's totally understandable as conscious creators to have, again, kind of like the nervousness and the anxiety. And I think, you know, that just kind of shows that we're also excited about doing it. It's just like, whoa, like I'm so excited about doing this, but I'm not exactly sure how to channel it. So you're totally, you know, you're in the right direction. And dude, even within our Patreon for the leading members, and Carley, she'd be able to even, you know, kind of like mention this, where we create space for like the members to be able to like facilitate like live meditations and events and stuff like that. So having the community to be able to like join in, just be like, Graham, you're doing awesome, and keep going, man. Like that goes such a long way, dude. So absolutely, man. Happy to be able to have you here, and happy to be able to help support further as well. And
yeah, I'm gonna mute myself again. Thank you so much for hearing
Graham.
me out, guys. Yeah,
appreciate it. Cool. All right. Okay. We're going to keep things moving along here. Did anybody else want to share on that original question, which is, again, what do you look for and what do you enjoy most about community? And you can introduce yourself even if you just want to answer the next question. So last call on that question, Carley. Yeah, go ahead, Carley. Welcome back.
Hey, yeah, I love this question because my favorite thing to talk about is this community, and how great it is, how much it's helped me get from where I was a year ago, from like needing to you know, being a single mom, kind of being in the state of depression and anxiety, and never going live, you know, never even thinking I could go or talk, or, you know, that I had anything worth saying. It was like, no, I think I'll just listen. You know, I was always that observer in my life. And this community just helped me break out of that and realize like, oh no, I actually have a really unique standpoint, unique point of view that most people don't, and everyone does. That's kind of the beauty of this, is we all have, you know, just like stained glass window, like we all show a different, you know, have a different color, show a different like part of the beauty of life, and from a different perspective can bring that beauty all together. So I just love that feeling of no matter where you are on your journey, and I've said this multiple times, this community is going to help propel you forward. And you're going to feel like supported no matter where you are. You're not going to feel looked down upon. Nobody's like, I'm better than you because I'm farther along on my spiritual journey. Like, that's just not really how these people are. Like, thankfully, like we, you know, people have done enough meditating, or you've done enough soul searching or shadow work where you can look at yourself and go like, I'm not perfect. And that's kind of the beauty of all of us, is we're all on this imperfect journey, trying to figure out what's next and like, where do we go from here? How do we wake other people up? How do we light other people up and help people break free from, you know, doing a job that sucks their soul away or makes them feel, you know, like their mental health isn't valued, and make them feel valued and help them realize like they're a creator, you know, they're an artist, they are worthy of being, and, you know, they have value just for being who they are, and sharing their story can be their value or their healing journey, or, you know, the modality that helped me heal is what I like to share with people. And sometimes that's how it goes, is what helped heal us is what we end up wanting to learn and wanting to teach and then sharing with others. And people find the value in that, just like we found the value from our teachers. And I think that was what Brendon was really saying before about being a guide and having guides. And like, we're all kind of walking each other down this path of, you know, recognizing the value in our own story and sharing that with people who can resonate. And it's going to resonate with some, it's not going to resonate with everyone, but that's okay. And being okay with the impermanence and the reality of that. So thank you all. I love you. Please connect with me. I'm on Instagram a lot. I'm on Insight Timer with Genna. I do tarot readings. I do EFT, but mostly I just do it for myself. And I'm still kind of healing myself and finding out my own path towards, you know, how to heal people. I love Qigong. I love yoga. I, you know, just kind of am still on my own path. So I love you all. I'm so grateful to be here. I can't wait to connect with you all further. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you as well, Carley, and happy to be able to have you here. And yeah, no, absolutely. Just echoing back everything you said. I love just being able to hear, again, just kind of like the evolution of your own journey as you've experienced. So beautiful. Okay, just going back to this question before we move on to the next one. Did anybody else want to be able to practice sharing on this question? The next one's pretty good too. So we'll get into the next question then. Okay, so the next.
Wait, can I say something actually?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
If I jump in for a second?
Sure.
Carley, thank you so much for sharing what you just said there. That really, I really resonated with what you were trying to communicate there. So I feel like maybe a future version of myself was listening to what you're saying there and kind of like, you know, that whole mind fuck right there. You know, that just happened right here. Excuse my language. Sorry, I'll stop talking now.
All good. Thanks, Graham. Totally. Okay, let's move into the next question here. And then we got one more question. And then from there, just kind of giving you guys a couple exercises to be able to carry with you into the week as well. So the next question that I have, and again, I'm super curious of this one, and it's already kind of been hit upon within what's been shared in the first one, is what does the idea of creating and facilitating community, or what, sorry, hold on, I kind of wrote that wrong. Okay, that's what I forgot. What about the idea of creating and facilitating community makes you anxious or intimidates you? And if so, why? What about the idea of creating and facilitating community makes you anxious or intimidates you? If so, why? So Graham, did you want to, we'll pass over to you first? Okay, go ahead, Graham.
I think I'm going to jump in here, guys. Okay, so I feel like vulnerability is a big part of this. It's like you're putting yourself out there, right? But that's what the community is for, and that's why I think that's what I'm missing. I'm trying to create my own community, but I mean, like, it's like, it's kind of like the whole inception of what you were saying before with at the beginning of the video. I forget what it was exactly, but there was some sort of inception there, the community within the community within the community, or something like that. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of getting back on that track there, but I'm gonna stop talking for a second, let you guys take over.
All good. Thanks, Graham. Okay, so anybody else who wants to be able to go upon that one, I'll just reiterate one more time. What about the idea of creating or facilitating community makes you anxious or intimidates you? And if so, why? Because again, I think it's totally natural to feel anxious and intimidated. And as Graham was saying, and everybody else has kind of echoed, like, you're putting yourself out there. And it's kind of weird because I've experienced this within my own journey of being a conscious media creator, where it's like, you can put yourself out there and you get like, you know, like 50 people, and they're just like, oh, like, dude, thank you. That was awesome. That was awesome. That was awesome. And then you get like one person that's just like, you're an idiot. You're stupid. Shut up. Why do you even bother? And then I'm just like, oh God, I'm crawling back into my shell and I'm never coming out again. Like, and that's a real emotion. Like, I legit feel that. And I'm totally, you know, just kind of like taking that to heart. And that's where, again, you know, kind of with being able to facilitate community, it's important to really be able to focus your energy on those who are going to be there to support you. But at the same time, you're not closing yourself off from feedback. If someone's just like, hey, you know, like, this is some feedback, this is some constructive criticism, that's cool, that's okay. But at the same time, you know, like, it's something where, yeah, putting yourself out there, it does take a little bit of vulnerability, but with that vulnerability is also the gift of strength as well. So it's kind of two sides of the same coin. Who would like to be able to practice sharing on this one? Because again, I want you guys to be able to kind of like, I'll pass it to Uni in a second. I want you guys to kind of like reflect in your heart, like why does it make you anxious? So Uni, when you're ready, go right ahead.
Yes. So I get a lot, like thousands of comments that are like complete hate comments, like this guy's a false guru, prophet, satanic, demonic, you like the whole thing, like super intense. And at first, for like the first 3 or 4 months or something, I was like, all right, here's my challenge, you know, like this warrior energy came through me, like, all right, here we go. I'm gonna look them straight in the eyes. I'm gonna connect with them. I'm gonna type back. I'm gonna really be there with them. And then I realized, whoa, that's extra. Like that's extra. That's like inner, subconscious, unconscious, just wanting to be seen and valued and appreciated. And that's like Leo rising energy, just wanting to be seen in that way. And so I noticed release from my acquisitive nature towards this negative occurrence happening in my life, and asked myself the question, how can I bring value to these people in this situation? And then I'm like, all right, well, maybe right now it's just to pray. Maybe right now it's just to take a deep breath and overfill my chalice and not look at the comment, like, because I do a lot of live feeds, you know, and so like I'm getting hundreds of comments. So maybe it's just time for me not to look at the comments. Maybe it's time for me to swipe the comments off, rebuild my chi, activate my prana, be with my breath, remember my magnificence, my gratitude for this day, for this moment, and allowing that to be my momentous, my energy that's moving me forward in this space of selfless service. Because if I'm afflicted or affected by a situation like that in any way, if it attracts me towards trying to fix that, I recognize that for me personally, that is the wounded healer archetype, wanting to go back and say, no, I've already done the work. I swear I've done the work. Trust me, I've done, you know, like, you don't have to prove yourself. You don't have to prove yourself. Like, we're all in this together and everybody's the perfect puzzle piece. And what you have to bring to the space is so valuable, even if it's just silence.
Thank you. Whoa, the bowl. Ernie, thank you, man. Love being able to hear that. And yeah, that's some great feedback there from your own experience. So cool. Okay, we'll keep things moving along here. We'll keep an eye on the time. I want to be able to kind of wrap up the recording of this and then move into the non-recorded workshop period, no more than probably 20 after. So 50 minutes. Real quick, just before we do that, because I know some people are going to be leaving in a second, let's take an opportunity here to do a quick group screenshot. This sometimes gets used in the promo stuff before we have a few more people leave. So for anybody else who's off camera, if you guys want to jump on camera for the quick screenshot, please feel free to do that. If you don't want to be on camera for the screenshot, please feel free to turn off your camera, and we'll switch things over in a second. So we'll do a quick group screenshot, and we'll do that in about 5 seconds. So you guys can just like regular, like think about what it feels like when you create like an amazing community and people are coming and things are happening and you're living the dream. What does that feel like? 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Awesome. Great screenshot. All right. Okay. Let's keep things moving along here. Thank you guys so much. And we'll move into the next, again, speaker for this topic. What about the idea of creating facility and community makes you anxious or intimidates you? If so, why? Who would like to be able to share? Kelsey, when you're ready, go right ahead.
Okay. So the first thing that came up for me was the people that follow me that are past friends that I no longer really talk to, and they know me as my past self, and which was much different than who I am now. And the judgment, I suppose, that would come with that, and being like, she doesn't know what she's talking about. And like, how, like and some of them aren't spiritual at all. So they'd be like, whatever thought they have. So that was the first thing that came up, like past friends. Like I'm totally ready for like this new community and the community that I am in already. Like I feel so connected with them, and I am like completely comfortable with my new friends I found on the portal, and I'm really comfortable with you guys. I think it's just like that ego of my past self. And what I have done a lot is that has helped me move through those intense emotions, any emotion that comes through, is just deep breathing. And just like I used to like want to, like I needed to take a super deep breath, but like I'm like, I can't get a deep enough breath. I can't get a deep enough breath. Like help me. And then just being in the breath that I am able to take, and just accepting what it is right there. And knowing that I don't have to prove myself. So yeah, speaking this out loud right now is very helpful. So thank you.
Thank you, Kelsey, as well. And yeah, it's interesting, the experience for some of us where it's like, okay, like I created my Instagram profile 7 years ago, and there's a bunch of people who follow me, and sometime around that journey I went through like a spiritual awakening, and now I'm like totally talking about other stuff, and there might be some people in the past and they don't really get it, and it's not really like up their alley sort of thing, and then you kind of get nervous because it's like, oh, like these are real people, what are they going to think about me? And you know, even within that, there are choices. There's always the option to be able to say like, you know what, maybe I'll create a brand new profile that's like just focused around the content that I want to be able to share and talk about, and really just be able to know that each person who joins that new profile is someone who's someone who's choosing to be there to be able to help support you, and for you to be surrounded by that type of community. And so, you know, there's always possibilities to how we go about that. But at the same time, I think it's really powerful when we do allow ourselves to kind of like step into the practice of sharing our truth and speaking our truth amongst those who may not fully get us. Because even when we're doing that, you know, we're still planting seeds, and there may be people who tune into that, and then, you know, lo and behold, they reach out a month later and be like, hey, like, what can you tell me more about the Reiki you're doing? Can you tell me more about the meditation? I've been getting into meditation because I keep seeing you pop up with your lives. Like I wasn't into it before, and now, so again, you can understand how like the ripple effect kind of continues. So like, you are where you are, be where you are, you know, because where you are is where you can kind of like expand those branches and reach that ripple. So there's always options. Again, if you're just like, hey, you know what, I want tabula rasa, I want to start fresh, you can do that. But if you're like, oh, maybe all these people are connected to me for a reason, and then to really just use it as a chance to be able to, again, just kind of like get like really hone in your own vibration. And if someone has like something where they're just like, hey, I don't really get what you're doing, that can actually be feedback, and it can just be like, here, let me get even clearer on what it is that I'm doing. And so, yeah, it's a really cool opportunity to just kind of like learn and grow with that feedback. But Kelsey, thank you again for sharing that. I love being able to, again, just kind of create a space for not only the vulnerability, but again, for you guys to be able to hear yourself when you're answering these questions as well. So anybody else who wanted to be able to answer that question, then we got one more, and then from there, we'll just move into the closing exercises, and then we'll be done for today. Anybody else who wants to be able to reflect on that question, please feel free to just gently raise your hand. I know there's a couple people off camera, so I'm not sure if anybody else there wants to come on camera to be able to share. Jacqui, yes, we can pass it over to you next. And Jacqui, please feel free to introduce yourself as well. So Jacqui, when you're ready, go right ahead. Let's give a nice welcome to Jacqui.
Hi, everyone. It's my first time joining this. Brendon, you hold such an amazing space, and I'm so glad I woke up at 6 a.m. here in Australia to come join. So for me, I am a search engine optimist for light workers and star seeds. I used to do SEO for like huge companies like Nintendo and stuff. And I thought that I want to bring it to this community because I feel like there's so much need for like light workers to just get seen in everywhere, not just social media, but on Google as well, because that's such a big driver of traffic. And one thing that came out for me about being seen is that I haven't been part of a community before, and so I don't know how it feels like to be seen and share in that way. And so I feel like being here and just seeing all of you beautiful people and being in this vibration, it's actually awakening parts of me inside that makes me think like, oh, maybe I can actually create something like this for myself, and I actually want to right now. So yeah, thank you so much for being seen. And also, I also wanted to add, the first question is that what I want to see more in communities is I want to see more diversity. I want to see more people of different cultures and races. And yeah, like for me personally, I feel like I'm one of the rare Asians who are in this multi-dimensional realm. So I would love to see more of this come up. And I would just love to also more love and just more expansion and more support for each other. And that's what this place is really giving. So yeah, thank you, Brendon.
Thank you. Thank you as well, Jacqui. And thank you for making time within your schedule to join us bright and early from Australia. Like, that's so cool. So, and again, for everybody here, definitely encouraging you to check with, to connect with Jacqui, AKA the CEO Fairy, starseed.seo. Sorry, I said CEO, the CEO Fairy, that Instagram.com/starseed.seo. Go ahead, Jacqui. I know I kind of tripped up my words there.
It's Starseed SEO, but
yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and again, you know, like it's interesting because I did like a whole 90-minute presentation, and then even when I did that, it's one of those things where like after we're done this recording, I'll be like, oh, I forgot to mention this and I forgot to mention that. But again, when we're talking about creating like intentional sacred digital space, like what we're also talking about is the idea that, you know, we're literally creating a vibrational frequency, and we're inviting people into this frequency. We're creating them into something that, even though it's through the digital space, it's still mimicking what we can do when we're in the physical space. And so when we're in the physical space, you know, it's an opportunity for people to kind of like walk into a room and to feel something, to feel a vibe. And so when we come into, again, a digital space, it gives people the opportunity to be like, whoa, like there's a feeling, there is an atmosphere. So what type of atmosphere do you want to be able to create through your community? And this can be something that's just relative to an ongoing event, but it can also be something that's ubiquitous, that kind of carries through your series of events, kind of like as a continuous narrative or a continuous theme. So that's where even within like the Paradigm Shift Central community, like a lot of what we focus on is, again, this idea of helping people step into their light guardian archetype, really helping them feel like these like superheroes, these conscious creators that can change the world. So within all of our events, there's kind of like this overarching theme that it's like, whoa, like this is about, you know, a team of like really dedicated and devoted people coming together with their unique skills and their gifts. And it's a place where people feel seen, feel heard, feel supported. And it really creates this kind of like vibration of like soul tribe and soul family. And again, that's something that's not just unique to what we're doing here within Paradigm Shift Central. I think it's something that each of us, given the niche of us being conscious media creators, where what you're doing within your community is, again, kind of going back to what I was saying, like you're already connected to the people who you have yet to meet. You're literally connecting with a version of soul tribe, with a version of soul family. And you're giving people a chance to be able to not only experience that, but to also feel that in a way that can sometimes have more meaning than you may even know. You know, like that's kind of from my experience doing Paradigm Shift. I'm like, hey, I'm just doing this. But it's not until someone comes up to me and, you know, kind of says to me and be like, hey, Brendon, like being a part of the Paradigm Shift Central community has changed my life, because it's changed how I've seen myself. It's changed how I've felt. It's given me a sense of hope. Even between the broadcasts, I'll think about you guys and be like, whoa, like I'm connected with that energy. And so the community can actually create something where you're building collective momentum. And that momentum is something that people carry with them throughout the day. And you're giving them objectives and ideas. And, you know, that's what we do here in the Paradigm Shift Central community, where we encourage people to kind of like continue to embody and carry this vibration with them beyond the events. And that's something that you guys can do as well. You can really have the events where it's not just wisdom sharing knowledge and then it's just kind of just that. It's something that they receive, and then you focus on embodying it, and then you carry it with them outside of the event, outside of the digital space as well. So yeah, again, just kind of going into the dynamics of what community is. And again, community is a chance for us to like really be able to nurture a seed that's inside of us. And we do that through, you know, the watering process of each other. So every time we have these events, much like what we're doing in the dojo, we're watering each other, we're sharing knowledge, we're sharing wisdom, we're embodying this, and we're leveling up simply by being in the presence of this space. So what is the value of creating community and facilitating event? You are literally helping people level up. It's not just like, you know, when you go to a movie and you forget it the day after, like this is an opportunity for you to provide people with an experience for them to like access more parts of themselves, to like unlock more of who they are. And after being in your community with a month, they'll be like, whoa, like I feel more whole. I feel more embodied. I feel more of like who I'm meant to be kind of thing. So okay, I'm going to post the links for all the Instagrams into the chat as well, and those will be in the YouTube comments as well. But before I'll do that in a second. I'll post everybody who's spoken, all your Instagram links, just so you guys got them. And yeah, definitely encouraging you guys to connect with each other out of this. Okay, going back to the question, if there is anybody else who want to be able to answer that one, and then we're going to go right into the last question, and then we'll finish it up with some prompts for some exercises for you guys to do. So anybody else who wanted to be able to answer that question? Did somebody else have their hand up? I'm not sure. I think we might have gone through that already. So, and anybody else who's off camera, if anybody else wanted to share.
What's the question again?
It's still the question, the one that we already answered before you left. So what about the idea of creating and facilitating community makes you anxious or intimidates you? And if so, why? So we'll just give anybody else. Graham, was there anything else you wanted to share on that? You did kind of answer it earlier. Was there something else you wanted to drop in?
I'm still kind of thinking if there's anything else I can add on to it. Yeah, it is a really good question though.
Yeah, it's something to think about even just on the, you know, outside of this. I encourage you guys to think about it. So yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, we can definitely move on to the next question if that's cool.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, cool. Sweet. Awesome. And again, you know, like that's, like I said, like the idea of like feeling like anxious and intimidating, like that is something where it's like, oh, well, why do we feel anxious? Maybe we feel anxious because there's something where we're not entirely sure. We can develop the confidence so that you can feel less anxious. But even still, it's okay to feel anxious going into the process of building a community because there's a bit of uncertainty. But you guys have probably heard this before where like anxiety is literally like an energy that we can redirect towards excitement. So how you relate to your anxiety, anxiety can actually be purposeful. It can actually be like, oh, like this is something that I care about. And the fact that I'm anxious reflects the fact that this is something that's important to me. So it's okay to be anxious when it comes to doing like something that's a little bit outside of your comfort zone. That's okay. And then again, when it's intimidating, that can also just be the fact that it's like, well, I don't really know enough about this. That's what we're doing here in the dojo, to give you guys a little bit more of like the overview and the tools and the techniques to be able to practice this in the dojo so that you can bring it into the bigger practice outside of this as well. So okay.
I really like that. Wow, that's powerful stuff, man. I think you hit the nail on the head right there. That's kind of like what I was trying to get at, I think.
Word. Thanks, dude. Yeah, no, man. And thank you again for reflecting.
I just would like to share something with the group. So the other day, my mom the other day, she grabbed me an iced coffee at Tim Hortons, and I guess they're handing out these bracelets. And I just wanted to show everybody what mine says. So if you guys can see there, and it's backwards because of the camera, but it does say confidence on it. And I feel like everyone could use a little bit of that in their life. You know what I mean? And so I've been wearing it, and I feel like it's helping. But you know, I don't know. I completely resonate with a lot of what you guys are saying, and I just wanted to share that.
That's pretty cool, man. That's a good synchronicity. That's exactly, again, that's what we're doing here in the dojo, to build that confidence. So yeah. I'm really appreciating exactly what you're doing here. Exactly, holding space. Thank you, dude. Awesome. Sweet. All right. Okay. Thank you guys so much again for being a part of this dojo, just getting your feedback, such as what Graham was sharing and everybody else. Again, it means a lot. Like this is, like I said, me doing this is outside of my comfort zone in some degree. Like this is still kind of experimental where I'm like, how can I get all this knowledge and again, into a space where you guys can take it with you even further. So let's get close to wrapping this up here. I don't want to keep you guys too long. Last question for today. What kind of ideal community would you like to build? And how would that feel? What kind of ideal community would you like to build and how would that feel? And so again, when we ask that question of how would that feel, that's a very important question. A big thing I talk about within the Paradigm Shift Central community is really inviting people to feel the future. Because if you can feel it, again, that's kind of connecting you to the reality that is already there. So again, that question, what kind of ideal community would you like to build? How would that feel? So that can be, you know, it'd be like, oh man, like I really want to be able to have a community of people who I can talk to about X, Y, Z. I want to host regular events. I want to do some live meditations. I want to be able to earn income. I want to be able to, offer one-on-one coaching and things like that. And how would that feel? Oh, that would feel like really exciting and liberating and freedom, and something I would wake up to each day and be like, ooh, how do I like serve the community in a way that's going to, again, serve me in return? So again, that's just kind of like me answering in a general sense, just to give you guys a bit of direction. But I encourage you guys to like get fantastical with this, kind of like really just think in a big scale what this could look like for you. So who would like to be able to just take a swing at this first? And even, like I said, don't even think too hard about it. Just feel it and feel what you have to share. Uni, I knew you were going to go first when you were going to go first.
Yo, okay. So I'm going to go pretty meta with this. Pretty meta. So ultimately, what I am here for is to help create these golden age communities, right? However they are aligned in transition to a unified presence of awareness of love for all beings. People with different religions and groups, they're going to transition into the unity consciousness over time. Ultimately, in order to create the golden age outside of us, we have to create the golden age within us. So what I would like to see is people showing up as themselves impeccably in selfless service to bring awareness of this same concept, that if we want to see this change on the outside of us, we need to start within. And we're all walking each other home. Nobody gets left behind. We're all in this together. And our frequency is our currency. Our presence of our heart is the greatest and most professional thing that we can do to aid in this transition, and showing up for people in this same way, like that we are showing up in this space, nervous and maybe unexperienced in these ways or anxious. None of that matters. You showed up. You did that work. You did that. I got shivers saying that. You did that. You showed up. You are a part of the shift. You are taking the steps. That's literally it. It doesn't matter where we are along the journey. It just matters that we're here now, right? I'll leave it at that. I love you.
Thank you, Uni. That's beautiful, dude. And dude, like, absolutely, man. I know we were kind of talking in the workshop last week where it's like, man, it's like I want to see that community where like you're facilitating regular sound healing events and people, you're earning that income, you're supported, you have that freedom, you're just like bringing us to exotic locations and things like that, and you're hosting a variety of events, some ecstatic dance events, things of that sort. Like, dude, like it is like I can feel it, man. I can feel it, dude. I'm here for it as well. So, man, that's awesome. Uni, thank you again, man. All right. Okay. Everybody here, just send some love to Uni for that vision. Everybody here, we'll do that for everybody. Just like focusing, like sending love to everybody's vision, and that will bring it forth. So beautiful. All right. Who would like to be able to practice going next? Again, envisioning that community that you're going to be facilitating. What kind of ideal community would you like to build? How would that feel? Kelsey, would you like to go next? Go for it, Kelsey.
Okay. First, I just want to say I love Uni so much. He inspired me to just say I love you to everyone, because I literally do. And yeah, that's huge for me. So thank you so much. What I was offering as a mental health therapist was one-on-one help, and then also families. So I kind of forgot about that, and I'm just going to write that down here, because there's always been so much I want to do, and then like I forget. I'm like on to the next thing, and I need to stabilize a little bit, go for what the idea is. If it doesn't work out, then move on, or if I'm not feeling the call for it anymore, move on, but just start somewhere. And like being a therapist was like one of the proudest moments of my life. And I felt really confident. It helped me like move to the next level of consciousness. Although it wasn't for me, I'm very grateful that I went for it. I did it for about 6 months and now I'm done. So I want to do like one-on-one coaching, like incorporate some therapeutic things within there. And I have my LSW license, and I'm kind of just like, well, if that doesn't line up, then whatever. Like, I'm gonna go for what I want to go for, because there's so many guidelines that I just don't necessarily agree with, or like I can't like tweak it to be like how I want it. So I'm just kind of trusting myself and going for exactly what I want to do. And Brendon, you have inspired me to do group meditation, because I didn't think beyond the one-on-one, and now I am like expanding my thoughts to do group work, and then a community, like building a community. I didn't like I'm already a part of communities, and I'm like, I'm good there, but I could create my own unique community. And I don't know exactly what that's going to look like right now, but I'm going to start. I've already started to like advertise for one-on-one things, and so we'll see where that goes, and just go for it. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Kelsey. That feels incredibly exciting. And yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of potential with being able to do some group meditations there as well. So I'd be happy to be able to help support that. It's cool. Beautiful. Everybody send some love and vision for Kelsey's future community that's coming our way. Beautiful. Awesome. All right. Anybody else who would like to be able to go? And again, I know we got a few people who aren't on camera, and thank you to those of you who are still tuned in as well. And once we go through this, we'll be close to wrapping up. Anybody else who would like to be able to share on that question? What kind of ideal community would you like to build? How would that feel? Who would like to be able to practice sharing there? And yeah, thank you guys again. Graham, go ahead when you're ready.
Wow, I need to take a breath for a minute because I'm trying to take all this in. This is such powerful stuff. Wow, and it's so true. Like, I always think to myself, if I knew now what I know then, or if I know now what I knew then, you know, I'd be a much wiser person. So we're always learning from our past. But I really like what you talk about with the like meditating on the futures. Like that's potent stuff, man. Holy wow. Because like I was feeling that when Carley was talking, she was talking about how much progress she's made in the past year, and I'm thinking to myself, like, you know, well, there's a million things going on in my mind all the time. That's the problem. But you know, what we can do for each other, this is what's important, and this is what I'm trying to get at, I guess, is right, the importance of community. And I really like what Uni is talking about, and I hear about this in other communities that I follow on Instagram, which I try to kind of emulate, but in my own kind of way, which is, you know, all I can really do in terms of you know, trying not to copycat or imitate people too much. Just offer my own, like, whatever I have to share, and let it be, you know, let it be, and let people resonate with it, and let people follow if they want to follow, and if it serves them, it serves them, and that's what we're here for. But I really like what Uni's talking about with the unity consciousness. I really feel like that is where we're going to be, you know, this is the path of the new earth, really. Like, you know, inviting all race, all religion. There's no discrimination. It's all love. It's all unity. We're all one energy. That's all it is. And it's really that simple. But, you know, I feel like religion tries to make it more complex than it really is. And I don't want to really even talk too much about religion, but let's just say that, really. And I'm just going to stop there.
Thank you, Graham. And guys, if you haven't checked out Graham's Instagram, again, there's like over like 20,000 on the Instagram account that Graham's built over the years. And again, like that's community there. So again, we talk about it within this presentation. There's different forms of community. Like the community is still your audience on Instagram, and then it's just like being able to kind of like take that community to different layers where it is kind of like the more personal events and having that private space as well. So that's where for everybody here, I think all of us, there's literally like a good handful of people that we could invite into some like small community event circles. And that's totally like, that's a great place to be able to start. Like, you don't need to do a community where it's like, oh, like I want to have like, like 5,000 people tuned in. It's just like, sometimes it's like, man, I want to have a group discussion with maybe like 6 people. And then you do that. And then like, that's great. Like that, cause that allows you to really just be able to like focus in on that, the intention of what that space is created for. So yeah, we're going to be kind of like moving into the exercises a bit. It kind of like
Can I
relates
ask one
to
real
that.
quick? Can I ask one question real quick there, Brendon, before we
Yeah,
move on to
go for
that
it.
question?
Go for it, dude.
Yeah, just, okay. So how much experience do you have with Instagram lives? And is that is that powerful for meditations? Because I want to do some group meditations as well. Me being an intuitive empath, I collect everybody's energy all day, and it really, I end up needing to hold space for myself at the end of every day, and at the beginning of every day. Pretty much any moment I can facilitate myself meditation, that's what I'm doing. But it's like, that's what we want to do, is we want to just offer that to ourselves, but offer that to other people too, right? It's just, but yeah. So the Instagram lives, what have you had any experience with the Instagram lives, I guess is what I'm asking?
Yeah, totally, dude. And next week we're definitely going to be going deeper into like the live broadcast and everything. But to hit upon this now, like again, the Instagram lives, like I think they're great at being able to, again, just kind of like immediately reach the people that are on that platform. And one of the best ways to be able to go about it, especially if you're doing things like meditation, is to create a schedule, create like some sort of routine where even just as an experimentation, you can create some graphics and some promo about this, where it's like, okay, for this upcoming week, I'm going to go live with a meditation at 8 a.m. every day and 8 p.m. every night, or something like that. And you're literally just inviting people to join in. And then one of the ways to be able to go about doing the meditation is literally to just kind of do it where it's just kind of like, well, like I would benefit from this even if I wasn't live. Like this is still a part of my practice. And then it's just, again, getting into the space where you're practicing kind of like facilitating. And we'll definitely talk more about this next week. But like, that was like, for me, like I've hosted a ton of morning meditations. There was a period where I was literally doing it Monday to Friday, every single morning. And for me, it was just like, man, like this is beneficial just for me to be able to do this. But if I can do this in a way where it's also inviting people to tune in, and then what you're also doing is, you can use those live broadcasts where like at the beginning, in the middle, of the end, you're inviting people to connect further. So that's where, you're engaging through your presentations within your lives. And that's something, again, we'll talk more about it next week, helping you guys develop that confidence where you don't just go on a live and just be like, hey everyone, here's my meditation, flash forward, thanks for joining my meditation, bye. Like you want your broadcast to be like, hey everyone, like my name's so-and-so, I've been facilitating meditation. If you guys enjoy this and you want to connect further, we've got a private membership community. We've got some upcoming events. I've got some one-on-one coaching, whatever it is. Like it's okay to be able to kind of like mention that as a habit right off the start. And also to be able to even kind of like establish your expertise where it's like I've been facilitating meditation for X number of years. But at the same time, you can be raw and honest where you're just like, this is a practice for me. I'm still kind of new to this. And then at the end of it, you can be like, if you guys enjoyed this and you want to connect further, send me a direct message. You can like do like a custom meditation with me, or click the link in my profile. We've got a custom, like a private meditation event. So that's where like doing those broadcasts where each one is like directing people to the additional stuff that you're doing. And again, it's also developing a relationship. It's practice for you as well. And it's just something that as you do that, you can really begin creating that like ritual and that routine for community where people might be like, man, like I can't wait till that next meditation. I've joined in for like the past 3 in a row. And you can kind of like do it in a way where again, people become familiar with it enough where they start looking forward to it, and the community just naturally starts building around that. So there's techniques and there's tactics to it, but I would definitely say like, with the live broadcast for your time as well, doing them in a way where like every time you do it, it's like moving the needle forward. And it's letting people know about the other stuff that you got going on. And it's letting them know about your events and your Discord or to DM you, and they get to know you, and they get to know you through you doing that. And you can do it in a way where it's like authentic, it's fun, it's practice, and you develop the confidence there as well. So again, that's kind of like a little sneak preview for next week. We'll go deeper into that. Graham, does that kind of answer your question? Because I would say, man, like my simple answer, go for it. You know, like honestly, set up a bit of a routine, go for it, dude.
Yeah. My problem is that I'm like not really limited to one job. I'm working like pretty much all over the place. So that's the only thing, is that I'd have to find a routine that works for me. Maybe, yeah, like in the morning, you know, maybe on weekends or something like that. Maybe on Friday nights. You know what? You're right. You could create a routine. That's exactly what I should do. That's a great idea. I never really thought about that too much. I honestly don't have too much experience with group meditations, but I've done like these group breathwork ceremonies where I've felt here, I'm gonna roll my windows a bit here. Yeah, so honestly, I don't really have too much time to be like, okay, so basically here's I guess this is where I'm gonna go with this. So over the past couple years, obviously we've been seeing the censorship ramp up on the social medias. I kind of took a bit of a break from it, to be honest. I took a bit of a 6-month hiatus after the election in the States there around November 30th. I completely deactivated my Facebook account. I honestly pretty much kind of have been working on myself really hardcore for for a long time now, but more so with the hiatus on the social media, it really allows you to and now it's getting hot, so I'm gonna roll the windows back down. I hope you guys can hear me okay.
It's cool, man. It's cool.
Okay,
and yeah, dude, we'll just, again, not to cut you off, we'll just kind of keep an eye on the time and stuff, because it's cool, man. It's cool. But go ahead, just like finish your thought, because like
that's really all I'm trying to get at is like you know, trying to find time for these things. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, and again, man, it might kind of be like a one-off thing where you just kind of like post the day ahead of time, where it's just kind of like, hey everyone, like I'm going to be going live tomorrow at so and so time, and you just kind of do it. And maybe you get 10 people tuned in, maybe you get 50 people tuned in. It's something that, you know, you don't really put too much pressure on. You succeed simply by doing it. And the people who are meant to see it will see it. And you just kind of start building momentum. Like that's kind of the thing with community. And I didn't so much get into this, but we'll talk more about it next week, where it's like having the events and having the consistency to build momentum, where it's kind of like each event kind of like leads into the next and leads in towards like more things. And again,
that's where the routine comes in, right?
Totally. So and then maybe, you know, you can kind of have some small events, and then maybe you can be like, okay, and then like on the full moon, we're going to be doing like a bigger meditation, and then you kind of like focus more on that as well. So sorry, go on. Or sorry, I was just going to say one thing, and this is for everybody here. Like one thing when it comes to the events is like, if you can basically like create a time to be able to do an event, what you're also doing, and you commit to that, is like you're creating a container for the universe to fill that energy. So thank you, Ren. Thank you for joining in. And that's where, you know, like for some events that I do, where it's just kind of like, man, like, okay, I've picked the topic, I've picked the time, I've picked the date, and I don't even fully know what's going to happen in that event. But I know by creating that container that the universe is going to fill it with energy. It's kind of like water filling like a hole, like filling like a bucket, you know, it just kind of moves into it when you create that container. So if you're just like, okay, like instead of just being, maybe I'll do a meditation sometime, if you're just like, I'm doing a meditation at this time, and you set that intention to the universe, in the future, the universe is going to and it's going to fill that space, that container with energy. And what it is, you know, it's sometimes it's like a surprise to you, and you'll be like, oh, I almost have to like get there to find out. But
that reminds me of the Terrence McKenna quote, a really powerful one, where he talks about nature loving the act of courage, because right, it's like, it's so empowering when you really let I don't know. It's interesting. Yeah, for sure.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely, man. Like, so for those of you here, like definitely, if you're just like feeling on the edge of doing an event, you can do one, and maybe it's just a small one. It doesn't have to be a lot of pressure, and maybe just to do like a live on Instagram is a good kind of stepping stone. Okay, let's get close to wrapping this up here. Appreciate everybody just sharing, and for those of you who have been sticking around, this one went longer today. They're not always going to go this long. Obviously, like this topic, like it really could be talked about for like quite a long time, but we definitely covered some good ground here today. Last call on anybody who wanted to be able to answer that original question that we were just going over with. And the question is, again, what kind of ideal community would you like to build? How would that feel? And then we'll close it off with just the prompts for some exercises, and then we'll just finish it off with gratitude, and then we'll be done. We can still do a work period for a bit. I'll have to just kind of let you guys know my availability for that, because, and again, I think all of us have been here for a while, so we'll play by ear. Anybody else who would like to be able to take a practice at answering that question, please feel free to let me know. Last call on that. And if not, then we'll pretty much be ready to wrap it up. So I think we're ready to move into the closing exercises. So, okay, so closing exercises. Last week we had a couple exercises where I invited you guys, for those of you who maybe didn't get a chance to listen to the full recording. The exercises are posted into the dojo as a reminder. Last week I encouraged you to make a video sharing your story and sharing your why. So if you haven't done that, feel free to maybe go back and do that one. And that could be even something that you do as a live on Instagram, where you're just like, I'm going to go live on Instagram and I'm going to share my story. I'm going to share my why. That can be really powerful. Like, yeah, Graham, that may be something for you, especially when it comes to community. If people see your Instagram and it's a lot of like graphic posts, for them to suddenly see your face and to see like the person behind it, like, and be like, whoa. And then that can kind of lead in and be like, and join me for the meditations, and I'm a person too, sort of thing. So yeah, so that was,
wow.
Yeah, so Graham and anybody else, again, that was last week's exercise. So if you guys want to do that, definitely, and still encourage you to go back and do that. That can be any time. And these exercises can be done out of order.
I think that's what I should start with. I think you're on something there. That's great. Yeah. You know what, man? I needed this so bad. You guys are the best.
No problem, dude. Happy to
Honestly, hear. You guys are just the best. I can't wait to join you guys. I just need to. I've been kind of like moving all around lately, trying to find new jobs and stuff, and different living situations work out better than others, and it seems that I'm gonna be stuck in Ontario for at least another year or so until we're done building this house, and then we might move to out west. But you know, life is such a blessing, and I love you all, and I want everyone to just take a minute here and just everybody express to yourself and to everybody here how much love means to us and the world, and how much we want to, and let that be an expression in itself of how much we want to change the world. Because totally. I like that how Uni was talking about that. We have to be the change we want to see, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. And Graham, just hearing you talk now, man, like this energy that like you're kind of practicing sharing right now, like, dude, like I can see you bringing this into your lives and just kind of like speaking from your heart. Like that can happen with a live. Like you'll get going and then you're just going to be like, oh, there's more I want to share. And so give yourself the chance to just kind of like see what that may be like. So
and you know what else it is too? It's like I have I live with my cousin, and he's got autism. He has Asperger's, and he's very socially awkward, and I get a little bit. I was talking about how I'm an intuitive empath, and I really can vibe with a lot of different people's energy, and I love people, and I really resonate with what Kelsey was saying too. I feel like when I look at anybody, I see potential. I see the abundance of the ability to heal ourselves and this world, and I see nothing but beautiful things in the future. And I remember my mom telling me years ago, when my dad passed away, you have a lot to offer this world, and you're going to find exactly where you fit in. And I mean, in this day and age, we are given more than enough opportunity. It's just about stepping out there. And that's what that's what this community really helps facilitate. And that's what I love, these words. They really help you when you start vocabulary. It's just, you have to, you know what I mean? It's really interesting.
Totally, man. You're doing it, dude. And I'm glad that, again, you joining here is something where you're just like, oh, wow, this is like giving me some extra inspiration to take with you.
Yeah, that's what we need to do. We need to inspire each other. We need to build each other up. That's and that's why I was just about to say, I really like how you were about to finish off with this whole gratitude, because that's literally how I start my morning meditation every day. I I swallow those gratitude pills. That's the greatest attitude we can instill in ourselves and in the world around us.
Dude,
We want to be like beacons of change and potential and opportunity, and facilitate this community and this hold this space. That's what we do.
Yeah, man. And again, you know, dude, just kind of like brainstorming here, and we'll talk more about other stuff as we get wrapped up here, where, you know, like you may find that you may end up deciding to go live on Instagram just to kind of like take a moment to just kind of like see what's on your heart and see what message you have to share. Cause I guarantee you'll do that and people will be like, whoa, like this guy's onto something. And just you doing that will be a chance of you practicing stepping into your own leadership for other people to be able to be like, whoa, like I needed these reminders too, dude. So yeah, man, there's a lot of opportunity to explore. So, okay. Let's just going back to the exercises here, and Graham, thank you again. So the exercises for this week, and these are totally optional. Again, they're just prompts, so you guys can do these. So one of the first exercises that I have for you guys is to brainstorm an upcoming community event that you could host. So I want you guys to just be able to take some time. Some of you are already doing this. Obviously, it relates to today's theme and the question and everything. So brainstorm an upcoming event. Maybe it could be a private event that you could host. Some of you are already doing this. So, I mean, if you're already doing it, then, you know, keep doing it. The other thing that I want to be able to invite you to do is send some direct messages to some of the people who follow you expressing your gratitude. So feel free to just kind of like reach out. Because again, you know, when it comes to community, it's about being able to develop relationship, expressing your gratitude,
I'd like to share something actually. Yeah,
So,
you know what? I have to speak to this. In my experience over the past couple of years, that's what I've been learning too, is that the more you interact with people and the more authentic you are, they do respond to it, you know, and I will actually do that in the messages. That's more of what I'll do is, it's important. It goes a long way. Sure.
Yeah, man. Like for people to be like following a page and just be able to have someone be like, hey, like, thanks for, you know, your engagement. And this can be, again, people who are like commenting on your posts, or even just kind of like going through and intuitively seeing who likes it and be like, just send them a message. And again, and also what you can do is, linking back to the first exercise, if you're brainstorming an upcoming event, you can also just kind of like leave a prompt with them. You can just be like, and doing it in a conversational way, be like, by the way, I'm going to be hosting some upcoming events. Is this something you'd be interested in? And then lo and behold, they'd be like, oh, dude, like totally, like, let me know. And then you can be like, sweet. And then you kind of do that with a couple people. Suddenly you've got a bit of a community forming. And then you're kind of like managing these relationships individually. And then eventually, again, you kind of move that into being able to create a space, a shared space as well. So yeah, and another one just as like an extra prompt would be host a live where you reply to people's questions. So you can do like kind of like a Q&A thing where you just give people the chance to be able to have access to you for a bit, and you can just reply to some questions. And again, just giving you that practice in developing a relationship where you just kind of get to hang out with community members. So those are all just opportunities there. So let's get this dojo wrapped up. This one went a little bit longer. I appreciate everybody being here today. And just to kind of summarize, you all have the ability to be able to continue to step into your roles as community leaders and community facilitators, and bringing together more awesome people and creating portals for synchronicity and creating events that are going to change people's lives and ripple out into ways that you may not even fully know just yet. And together, that's how we continue to assist and accelerate the shift in consciousness. And you have a ton of value. You're worthy of being able to earn income. Open your heart to that creativity, feel the future, reach out to community members for contact and in collaboration, and myself for ongoing support. And again, just to kind of remind everybody here within the dojo, if you haven't already yet and you want to connect further with the dojo within the Discord, join the Discord for the dojo. I'll post that into the links for the Zoom one more time. And for those of you who are looking to join the dojo in the future, definitely reach out to me on Instagram. Again, we do these as private invite only events. And next week's topic, we'll be doing it on facilitating events and live broadcasts. So we're going to be going a little bit deeper into some of the stuff that we talked about today. And the events after that, we're going to be getting into storytelling, video editing, and apps. And then after that, we'll be announcing some of the ongoing topics. And if you guys have suggestions for topics that you would like to be able to focus on, direct message me there or here, or post in the Discord as well. And please encouraging each of you to please continue to use the Discord if you would like to just kind of like throughout the week, just kind of share ideas, share things you're working on as well. And again, if you guys are feeling called to be able to work with me further, reach out to me for ongoing one-on-one sessions, and I can set those up with you to help you get clarity on your next steps. I keep those pretty affordable. And then also, if you would like to join the Patreon, you can join as a leading member in the Paradigm Shift Central community, and that's an $11 membership, totally affordable. And you can also join the Paradigm Shift Central, Discord as well. So I'll post some of the links for those just into the show notes as well. And we'll just finish it off with some gratitude, and we'll be back here again Thursday at 4 p.m. EDT for week 3 of the Conscious Media Creator Dojo. Thank you to those of you who are listening into the future. And if you're on YouTube, be sure to check out the recordings on Spotify, Paradigm Shift Radio. And if you're on Spotify, check us out on YouTube at YouTube Skull Babylon. So let's just finish it off with some gratitude, and then we'll just kind of finish the recording. Since we did go a little bit longer, the work period will just kind of not be super long. And I think all of us probably need to take some time to just kind of step away anyways. It's kind of turned into a work period just by us just hanging out here chatting. So that was great. And yeah, just going around one more time, just with some closing gratitude. So who would like to just be able to share any gratitude for the space and the circle and the members here? Go ahead and just raise your hand, and I'll gently pass it over to you, and we'll get things wrapped up. So anybody who would like to be able to practice sharing some gratitude real quick, please feel free to go ahead and let us know. And yeah, gratitude to you guys. Thank you so much for joining here today. So anybody go ahead? You guys want to? I can. Yeah, Graham, go ahead. Any gratitude you'd like to express?
Yeah, if nobody, I honestly wanted to hear all you guys speak, because I just love it so much. But if you guys are wanting to hear someone else speak, I will speak. So yeah, I honestly can't thank you guys enough for holding this space. And I love what you guys are doing for the community, for the world. We're setting examples. These will have rippling effects. What we do everywhere has ripple effects, and that's kind of why I like the idea of what Tesla talks about with energy, frequency, and vibration. We are able to affect each other with our own sound frequency, our voice, our speech. We can communicate with each other through community, through speech, through vibration. We are allowing, yeah, honestly, I just really like hearing everything you guys talk about. And I just love, I want nothing more than to facilitate more of this. And I look forward to working with you guys in the future and stuff like that. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you again, Graham. Glad you're able to join today. Okay. Anybody else? And then, yeah, we'll finish off the recording, and then we'll probably just do a quick debrief. And then I think we'll probably finish it off without a full work period today. But again, we do have another work period Tuesday, 2 p.m. EDT, but make sure you guys, or 1 p.m. EDT, make sure you guys are joined into the Discord if you haven't already yet for that link. Anybody else who would like to just be able to express some gratitude? Lizzy saying, I appreciate everyone's presence and looking forward to sharing, supporting each other along the way of our divine path. And again, even just like feedback, like how was this for you guys? Like your feedback on how I did today with the presentation and facilitation is super appreciated as well. So anybody else who would like to share?
Yeah. So Brandon, I just want to say,
sure, Graham, go for it.
I worship you, man. You're great, man. You're a leader in like I do worship you, brother. Like, I'm not on Instagram as much as I used to be. I'm not on Instagram as much as I used to be, but when I am there, I hope you understand that I do care about what you're doing there, and I care about what you're doing here, and I want everyone to know that, and I got nothing but love for all y'all.
Thank you, man. I humbly received the worship. So it's a very strong word. I'm like, oh, geez, don't worship me. Please don't do that. But yes, no, I appreciate the gratitude. So, okay. Anybody else just closing gratitude? Lizzy, did you just want to share anything? Yeah, go for it, Lizzy.
Yeah, of course. I mean, thanks, Graham, for joining in. Literally, yeah, I was like, take that energy and just like understand that it's all like within you. So grateful to like share space with everybody, and like as I'm just like all of you like releasing what no longer serves me, and just like looking back, taking some of my precious time to like reflect on like where I've been. I checked out, I was looking back at, I have 7 videos in my Instagram TV of paradigm shift meditations. And I was looking at those today, and it made my soul like sing with joy. So yeah, big thanks. All these new faces, you guys are so beautiful. I love Lizzy K, and yeah, this is my from shy to magnetic journey. So infinite gratitude and peace.
Thank you, Lizzy. And Lizzy's got some upcoming community
Yeah, I
event
have some
stuff
events planned too.
you're doing as
Next
well,
week I'm
so.
doing like I have a Facebook group that I'm like working on growing. I spend too much time on Facebook, I think. So I'm working on that strategy, but hoping to do some things on Patreon too, because I know I already have some support there. So I'm turning 25 in September, and I'm just like whoosh, upwards and onwards. So can't wait to share. Thanks,
Cool.
Brendon.
So definitely posted Lizzy's link in the Zoom chat, and that'll be in the YouTube as well. So definitely reach out with Lizzy. And Lizzy, thank you again for stepping in with the facilitation for the meditations as well. That's been awesome. So cool. All right. Anybody else? Any just, again, gratitude, feedback? Kelsey, go ahead, and then we'll be close to finishing up here.
I took a lot of notes. And so I really got a lot of value out of your presentation today, and I really enjoy how you present your information. Like, you can obviously tell that you have prepared, and you're putting your heart and soul in your presentation. So I will definitely be returning and sharing your classes and your page and all this stuff you do. And I'm following everybody that is on here. And I've already started to talk to people, DM Willow. I've been messaging her from last week, and I look forward to DMing the rest of you as well. And also, what I've learned from Uni as well is sending telepathic vibes, like just, sometimes I just have so much to communicate, and even though I'm saying thank you and being grateful, like it's just eternal. So like I've learned I'm learning how to send that telepathically. I don't exactly know, but I know it's working. Yeah. So I think that's all I wanted to say. Thank you again.
Thank you as well, Kelsey. Happy to be able to have you here. And yeah, and again, for everybody here, if you guys are like, whoa, this is awesome, this space is really valuable, if you guys got people you want to be able to reach out to and let them know about the dojo, feel free to just direct them to my Instagram and let them know that they can direct message me. And again, then the recordings for these are all online, so people can check those out at any point. So yeah, I'm excited to just kind of like find out in the future, people will be like, hey, I listened to these dojo sessions and they really inspired me and got me, moving in that direction. So thank you guys for holding space for me. I appreciate everybody just being here. I wouldn't be able to do this without you, and you being here to be able to see me and remind me that I have value in what I'm sharing, and to be able to do that in a meta way where it's like you guys giving me that acknowledgement allows me to acknowledge that you are acknowledged, and helping everyone just kind of really see the value that we carry. And again, reminding us of that bigger mission of what it is that we came to do here as light workers and starseeds and light guardians. And again, sacred entrepreneurs in many ways, finding that balance of business and heart-oriented creation of community and art. And it's going to change the world, and we're already doing it. So for everybody here, appreciate you being you. Okay, let's last closing gratitude feedback stuff, and then we'll be done. And then, like I said, we'll finish it off just with a little post after the recording, just kind of wrap things up, and then we'll be done. It's been 3 hours today. You guys have been so awesome and patient. Anybody else who would like to just be able to share real quick? Uni, go ahead, and this might be the closing for today, unless anybody else wanted to share real quick. Go ahead, Uni.
Okay, I just want to say, thank you so much, Brendon. You are an amazing facilitator. I've worked with lots of people in all different kinds of avenues of spirituality and not spirituality. Bro, you are on point. You are such a great leader for this, what you said, the spiritual entrepreneurism. I love you so much. And my gratitude is sent out to all of you for showing up. Just showing up. Just showing up. Even the people who don't have the camera on, it's like being present in a space and and witnessing and feeling and receiving. That's it. Sometimes your job may not be to offer your wisdom or something. It may be just to receive that. So thank you for showing up and doing that work for you to better yourself, to bring about a greater vibe within yourself so that you can reflect that for other people. Thank you so much. Mahalo nui loa. I love you so much.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Uni. Honored to be able to have you here as well. And dude, many blessings for the many live broadcasts that you have. And guys, definitely check out Uni. And if you see him live on TikTok, be sure to jump in and say hi. So cool. Okay. Last call. Anybody else? Any just closing gratitude real quick, and then we'll be done for today. Thank you. Thank you, Carley. I saw that. That counts. So it's all. Okay. All right. Well, let's finish it off here. And thank you again so much for those of you who are listening to this into the future, for making it all the way to the end of our recording today. And yeah, all the stuff that I said earlier, links are in the info for this video. So be sure to check it out. Connect with the creators that you heard speak on today's dojo, and send me a direct message if you want to join future dojos, and join the Paradigm Shift Central Discord in the meantime. And feel free to check out the Patreon. And yeah, excited for more dojo sessions ahead. So for everybody here, join me in just saying farewell and thank you. And until next time, to all the people watching this in the future. So you guys can unmute your mics and just say, thank you, everybody. We love you guys. Until next time, keep it
Bye. Bye, friends. Love you guys.
Night
Great to meet everyone.
Stay
Beautiful.
blessed, everybody.
Awesome. Much love. Thank you again, everyone.
Much gratitude, much love. One